So last week, uh, being nearby when the contract came in, 3 seekers assembled at Kedwell to sign it and then quickly head to Electir. Before they left, however, Percy spotted a familiar face from a previous mission, the Glass Auton Etch, who was speaking with Q out in the front hall area. In their outstretched arms was a cloth wrapping with a fractured sword hilt resting upon it. She was asking Q to take it on behalf of the Seekers, as the Historical Society had had little luck identifying it beyond the most basic elements of its School of Magic. Elantra spent some time examining it and was eventually able to identify roughly how the artifact worked, which only served to reinforce Etch's belief that it should be in the capable hands of the Seekers. After this diversion, the group headed into town and paid for a quick trip to the city via a portal in Celestial Finance branch there. Upon arriving, they found the city to be shining unlike any they had seen before, with its bright cob walls and round architecture, making it stand out amongst many others. It didn't take long to get directions to the central post, where they would find Captain Nil Zemnos hunched over his desk and racked with stress. They got a rundown of the situation and some of the critical information from the city guard's reports, which gave them leads to follow. Just a moment, I forgot to turn on my captions.
Accessibility requirements, yo.
Important.
Okay. The first lead the group followed was at the Royal Globe Museum, where a couple of images had been seen just a few hours prior. They managed to get a quick meeting with the director of the museum, Noya Roussel, who seemed to have little patience for their investigation. After a quick tour through the museum, they decided to move on and speak with the first reported victim, who was over at the long stay inn, the Enticing Prophecy. Helibonia, the front clerk, had fallen unconscious 9 days prior, and from this conversation with him, they gleaned that one of the guests had been in their room for a strangely long time and decided to go and check in on them. Up on the 3rd floor, the Seekers opened room G with Helibonia's keys they had gotten prior, to find a crystalline figure sat on the floor, unresponsive, and with a stone sphere and amber glass lens floating in front of them. Elantra examined a number of items in the room, but it was still unclear what precisely was going on. Zael took a position between the figure and their weapon, which was leaning up against the wall, and prepared to restrain the figure using the vine wrap, so they could hopefully get to the bottom of things. Which is where we open now. Zael prepared with the vine wrap, ready to launch it forth and hopefully bind this person.
Can I just, before we really get started, can I just make a split-second sense motive to make sure that this is, a bad guy?
Sure. With a 20, it's feeling kind of neutral. You don't have a ton of information about this person so far.
Yeah.
But you don't really sense anything either way from them. I mean, they also don't really have any body language either, because they're not moving or anything at all. So
they are also in a sensory deprivation.
Yeah, and their face is completely covered. So there's not much to read.
They're also a rock person.
This is also true.
Is there a lot of body language in rock people?
It varies.
Depends how that rock's feeling that day.
It would come down really to how much they had picked up from the people that they have lived with and around.
Or where they rank on Moe's hardness scale.
So I'd say you're unsure.
Cool.
extremely helpful, I know.
Yeah. Rolled a dirty 20, and I gotta. I don't know.
Well, it's not like we're beating him over the head with a stick or anything. We're just being precautious.
True, just restraining, so far at least, right?
Well, hopefully, let's see. And as far as launch out or anything like that, I mean, what I envisioned was as just creeping the vine forward type of thing.
Okay, so you're going for more of a slow wrapping around what his
Yes.
hands?
I guess so I'm assuming he's more of like sitting in almost a meditative stance or something like that.
Yeah, he sat like cross-legged.
Yeah, is his arms at his side or whatever? I figured it would just like wrap around his center torso, hopefully binding his arms.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'd say his arms are probably down at his legs. So you could pretty easily get around like the, just above the elbow or something around the torso and
Yeah.
and try and wrap him up that way.
No sudden
So-
movements or anything, just slow and stealthily.
So the vine sort of slithers out, following your sort of mental direction, and begins wrapping around this crystalline man, getting tighter and tighter until the vine's length is expended, and it's got like 3 full wraps around him, pulled tight enough that he shouldn't be able to move. But the figure does not respond in any way to this action. He remains unmoving.
So, now what? I assume we don't have to be quiet anymore.
Do we want to remove the hood?
See, why not? Try to get his attention at this point, right?
Sure. I mean, I can do it.
Go
Why
ahead.
not? I will slowly remove the hood. Or pull it back, whatever you want to, show them peepers.
Right. So as you remove the hood, it becomes a little bit more of an involved process than maybe you initially thought. Because there's like earmuffs and sort of goggles that are sort of attached to this whole thing. So it takes you like 30 seconds to get it off of him. But once you do, what is revealed underneath is a crystalline face, eyes seemingly closed, no mouth, no nose.
Hmm.
Still
Wait,
unmoving.
So just you said just a crystalline like shape of a face, no mouth, no eye, no. Wait, could you repeat that?
Closed eyes, no mouth or nose.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so there's eyes, they're just closed.
Yeah, there are what you would assume to be eyes.
Does this person seem alive?
You can give me a heal check for that.
I'll check to make sure we're not harassing a corpse either.
Yeah, Elantra, you're not sure. It's difficult to tell, but Percy's is sure. Even not necessarily knowing a ton about, sort of Krisit physiology, what there is to know about it. If they were dead, there would be more give to, or more, just like gravity would have more response to what you were doing to them. They are instead sort of frozen in place as if their muscles are keeping them there.
They definitely seem alive.
Yeah. So their muscles are definitely like still working, but there are fewer signs of life to sort of assess because there's no heartbeat really. There's no breath that you can read. So you're more just sort of assessing. I guess that the energies that keep their crystalline form together, and move them about and stuff.
There's actual energy required to keep their posture, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna use the blunt end of my glaive and poke him with the stick, essentially, a little bit firmly.
I'm gonna say hello.
Where do you poke them?
I guess just in the arm, just on the side, just a little jab. He's a rock person. He should be able to take it. They're a
Okay.
rock person. I
You're
shouldn't assume anything.
a strong fellow, so you give him a little poke, and while there's a fair amount of resistance, you are able to move them. But as soon as you remove as soon as you pull back, they sort of reset back to the position they were in before. It is very much like giving someone a slight shove. They just reset to where they were after you do it.
Do I have a sense of how dangerous it might be to like move one of these here floating magical objects? Or non-floating magical objects even? Like the box or the lens or the sphere?
Don't touch the sphere. Zell is wary of the sphere.
Give me an Arcana check.
Perseus would be very
Fuck
upset. if you had to
me,
handle
that's
it.
horrible. It's a natural two.
Yeah, that's an achievement to go that low for you. Unfortunately, you haven't seen anything like this before. The orbs that you've seen at the Seeker's headquarters have not been active, so you haven't really been able to get a good idea based off just written accounts how they were, or how they worked, rather, when they were actually on. So you're not really sure what would happen, and you're not familiar enough with any of the other items to really have a good feeling either.
Cool. Shall I send him a message?
Whatever gets his attention.
My loud hello didn't work, but you can try in this head.
I'd like to cast message on this Krisit. And just say, you should wake up. We'd like to talk.
Okay. I rolled an at 1. You feel sort of a bit of static, just a moment after you send this message, and nothing else.
Okay. Going to hit him over the, knock him on the head a couple times with the stick.
That I can nothing else.
I back
All right,
up a little bit.
roll a d4 plus your strength
No,
modifier.
I'm not smacking him with. I'm just knocking.
Oh, okay.
I'm not taking a swing at
Oh,
him.
it's more like as if you were knocking on a door.
Yes.
You're
I
not
thought you were
pistol
just
whipping or
gonna whack him.
just take my glaive, just smack him. Okay.
As you do, he sort of reels back in response, but resets to his position after you do so.
Can I scan the room of it, like any sign of this being lived in, pretty much, or any sign of him actually moving prior to us being in here?
Sure. Give me a perception check. So you start going about the room. You notice on the bed, it doesn't look like it's been slept in, but I think you've all already established last episode some basic information about Krizits. They don't sleep.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a spot where the covers have been sort of disturbed as if they were sat on since the last time they've been made. There's also And well, yeah, it's tough. There's an icebox in the room, but that is also empty as they don't eat.
Makes sense.
So there's no need to store food in there. There are near where Zael is standing with the staff and the bag of books that are there. There are some like markings left on the wood floor where that staff has been like placed into the wood, left tiny little like divots, I guess, or little scratches. Yeah, and I guess the bag of books doesn't look super like it doesn't look like it's been here forever, you know, like it's not like dusty or anything. It's also not like perfectly placed. It just sort of like it was, I guess, put there and then someone rummaged through it a little bit.
Of books.
Yeah.
Okay.
You feel free to look through it if you'd like to. So far, y'all have just sort of noticed that it exists. No one's like looked to see the exact contents of it or anything.
I'll peek in. I want to start rifling immediately, but
I'll look through.
yeah, I'm sure you would find more interesting things in there.
So as Percy's, I imagine, starts just like taking some of the books near the top out of the bag, maybe placing them on the bed or on the floor nearby, and then digging deeper for further books. Several of them near the top don't really seem too significant. They're just like they look like really dense like history books.
Okay.
There you do find past those first like two books, you find some notes. It's just like loose parchment with a bunch of handwritten stuff on them. And then next is a large leather bound like binder sort of thing. Like it's fully just like two sheets of like reinforced sort of leather and wood, and then big like leather strings binding together a bunch of sheets of otherwise loose paper in the center.
Is that their spell book?
You feel free to to flip through it.
Yeah.
Look with your special eyes.
Ah, yes.
I think it becomes pretty quickly clear to you, Elantra, that this is not quite a spell book. It's more just a scroll binder. So they're not rolled up like scrolls, but
they are spell scrolls.
They are spell scrolls, just sort of kept for long-term keep. They just apparently bring a lot of them around with them.
What sort of do I recognize any of the spells?
Do you recognize them? That's an interesting question.
Or like, do I have an idea of what they would do?
You definitely recognize some of them. Here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say you recognize the ones that are on the wizard spell list.
Great.
Most of the ones on the wizard spell list, at least. You find the spell Tongues.
Okay.
Voluminous Vocabulary. Share Memory. Seek Thoughts.
Mentok, the Mind Taker.
Sending. and analyze aura, which is not on the wizard spell list, but I think is common enough that you would have maybe heard about it or run into it. And there are a couple others that you could figure out if you spent more time on them, but you don't. They're not like immediately clear to you what they are.
Okay. What's written on the notes? The loose notes.
At the top of the first page of notes, written in large letters and underlined, it says the influence of language on the development of culture. And then under that, it says Akundali, which I will spell for you.
As in, like, the author or signed?
Yeah. It's that is written more as a sort of signature sort of thing than the print that is the top part is written in. And then it seems to be notes, like speaking notes. So it's not like a full script for a speech, but it's lots of like talking points with some notes scrawled next to those talking points.
Cue cards.
Is this person, like this Krisit, are they supposed to be one of the speakers at the museum?
I didn't even think of that. That'd be a really good connection.
Or did they steal these notes from someone who's supposed to speak at the museum? I could ask them.
I mean, if you want to talk to Neuer Russell, but I know that she's probably...
No, I could ask this person.
Oh, I mean, yeah, if you could find a way to talk to him.
And how do you
give away?
Ask him, and with that him, I hit him again over the head, kind of forcefully.
It would give us away that we are snooping through their belongings, but I think that ship has perhaps sailed. You said that other books were history books?
Yeah, the top ones were history books. Then was this sort of scroll tome, and there are still a couple in there, a couple of books in there. If you want to continue.
Yeah, just gonna at least read all the titles.
So Percy's pulls more of these books out, and one of them is Shining Star for you, Elantra.
Oh?
Don't tell me that, I'll drop it.
So this one that stands out, it would even stand out to you, Percy. It is much older looking than the rest of the books that were there. The others looked pretty recent, like they were, in the last 50 years or something. This is much older than that.
It's weathered.
Yeah, the binding is sort of falling apart. It's very well worn, brown leather bound volume.
Okay.
On the front of it, emblazoned in red and gold, is a fading image of a warrior with a sword in the air riding toward a dragon that's swooping down. There's no title or anything written on it.
I write in big letters Game of Thrones. Well, I'm not handling it much longer because I probably wouldn't have any idea what to do with it. So,
when you say shining star, do you mean glowing with detect magic?
Yeah, I mean magic.
Great. What school?
You gotta make a check for that, baby.
I know.
Ain't nothing free.
I just don't want to make the check, and then you'd be like, "What's that for?"
Oh, fair enough. I would do that. I have been known to. Oh, with a 16, you can't tell.
Do I think it's cursed, or do I just open it? I just open it.
To any particular page?
It's just like going through the front, trying to find like a title page or something.
Okay. Well, there is no title page. Well,
Are there handwritten spells?
there's also it also doesn't appear to be any sort of spell tome. It appears to be prose. But the first page is like fully blank, and then on the second page, in just sort of a smaller heading, it reads Iron Heirloom.
Iron Heirloom. Does that mean anything to me?
You can give me a knowledge local check. While this is happening, Zael, you notice out of the corner of your eye another brief flash of barely visible light coming from the lens. It's similar to what you saw when you first entered the room.
So the lens is just kind of... Is the lens in place, or is it kind of like orbiting the orb?
It's sort of orbiting.
Okay, so when you say it flashes, is it flashing as it catches my eyes and when it's in line with me, or could it be anywhere around the orb when it flashes?
No, it doesn't flash as if it's just like reflecting light off of you or something.
Just making sure.
In fact, you can sort of see light in like the dust in the air between the orb and the lens when this happens.
Okay, so it's literally giving off like a pulse of light or something like that. At least that's what it's perceived as in this corner of my eye.
Yeah, and it's not like even light like a flashlight, but yeah, it's a little abnormal, like amorphous, I guess.
Yeah, I think I can pick up what you're putting down.
Knowledge local 13. It sounds kind of familiar. It's not like it doesn't immediately jump to mind what this would be, but I don't know, somewhere in the back of your mind you feel like you've heard that before.
You make me want to make a bard cut.
Like this, like the title of a song or something, maybe? You're not sure.
Don't let your dreams be dreams, Perseus.
Iron Savior, you said?
Iron Heirloom.
Iron Heirloom. Iron Heirloom.
Do you keep flipping? Or are you going to start reading, or what's the play?
I'm just gonna like skim to try to find something else that would spur my memory.
Okay, it's written in common. It seems to be like a I guess a short story of like a suit of armor that's passed down throughout a family. And as it quickly becomes clear, just based on your knowledge of stories, this is not going to fill the whole book. And as you flip, you reach the end of this sort of tale. There's a blank page in between, and then comes another page with a new sort of subheading. And it reads Wildling Erastia.
Does that mean anything to me?
Give me another knowledge local check with advantage. Oh,
there they are. There's
yeah.
goals.
Now that you've got this second one, it's starting to connect the dots together, and you recall where you heard the first title from. It is both of these are old stories that were originally passed down through like oral tradition, but have since been published. And in fact, I think you know what they were published in, at least what they were first published in. And that is a book called Collected Stories and Fables of the World by Tobar. A very long time ago.
Way before we drop baloney on Afghanistan.
What do I know about Collected Stories and Fables of the World?
So I'll give you some content stuff based on your knowledge local check. We make a knowledge history check for me as well to see if you know any more about the actual like writing of it and stuff. With a 24, you definitely do. You know tons. So this was the first time that lots of these sort of old fables were written down, or at least written down and published and shared outside of their original communities. You probably also know the titles of every story in here, even if you can't read them all, because they are not all in common. In fact, most of them are not in common. And this is the original copy.
What?
Oh shit! So I just found the original Canterbury Tales.
Yeah, kind of.
Fuck. So this belongs in a museum.
Potentially.
Oh shit! Did
Okay.
he Mission Impossible the museum?
Can I just like
Oh,
Charlie
and also
Day
just for the
conspiracy
record,
board?
you know that this crystalline person is not Tobar. Just in case that
Great.
was unclear.
Can I just Charlie Day conspiracy board for a second? Are we all okay with that?
Go for it.
Live your dreams.
They are shutting down the museum to find some other similar historical artifact, or for one of the historian types who was going to speak at museum or something. Like there's some connection between this person having the speaker's notes and this historical artifact and them people showing it at the museum. Just there's something there. There's some connection between all these pieces. I think I also just finished watching a Sherlock Holmes murder mystery style D&D campaign, and that's probably coloring my
Hey, same.
thoughts right now. Did you watch Mice and Murder?
I just finished it yesterday.
I finished it like the day before.
Wait, what is this?
It's a Dimension 20 show.
Yeah, it was a 10 episode, sort of very much Sherlock Holmes era murder mystery, but with
Dimension 20. Okay, so
animal
it's
people.
it's like a tabletop thing though.
Yes.
It's
It's
like
like
Critical
5e.
Role. Like okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I would love to have the time for those things. I try to get into Critical Role, but like the debt there, it just seems massive.
Yeah,
Critical Role's hard.
Critical
Dimension
Role
20
is
much
very
easier.
hard. Dimension 20 has much shorter loops. Like they have smaller self-contained stories, so it's a lot easier to do, but it's still a lot. Even at 10 episodes, it's
That's still
2
20 hours.
it's 2 hours an episode, so it's still 20 hours.
So they're like vignettes more than it, like kind of like, I guess, is that the right word? I don't even know. I just want to say the word vignette.
That's honestly, I can't fault you. For that.
So one more question to not get us off too much topic with that. Is it available in audio only form, or is it something you kind of have to see too? Because I know like Critical Role, they had the podcast and stuff like that.
I think it's only in video, and a lot of it is behind a paywall too.
There might be a podcast version of like the stuff that's up on YouTube, which is like 3 seasons, I think, of stuff. I feel like I've seen that before, but I'm not 100%.
I'll take a look. I mean, that is feasibly going to be the only real way I'm going to really get into stuff like that, is swap that out for my audiobook time or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Last conspiracy board theory. This lens is flashing because someone is watching us through it.
So going to your conspiracy theory, though.
Solid theory.
When you say this artifact, you're referring to the original book, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have any? Okay.
Someone want to stop the museum because either they're doing a heist or that's a big knowledge bomb that just dropped in the chat.
Yeah.
Fantasy gifts.
Yeah.
WebMs even.
I guess at this point, there's not too many steps to take in this room.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really. You weren't far away to begin with, so.
They're very small steps, to be fair.
I'm gonna keep an eye on the crystal boy, by the way, or girl, or whatever, to just see if they're doing anything that would like, just in case.
Okay.
I don't trust like that.
What the hell? Zell now has a wisdom of 10. He's just gonna pluck the lens out of the thing and ask if we think this has to do with anything.
You try and grab the lens.
Yes.
Make me a strength check.
Ooh, I could do that.
Winnable.
Okay. On a 20, it's difficult. There's a lot of resistance to this, and I think you were one of the people that was in that very first mission trying to knock over the. Yeah,
yes.
it's similar to that.
And then event of everyone is the one that knocks it over.
Yeah, it's similar to that, where there's a lot of resistance to it, and it's, they're not touching, so it's sort of like magnetic resistance, trying to pull apart two really big magnets. Eventually you reach some sort of breaking point where you get them just far enough together, or rather far enough apart, that it sort of like exponentially gets easier from there, and you're able to rip it away from the orb that it was orbiting around. So you now have this metal-bound amber lens in your hands.
I'm gonna look at it, like right up to my live. I try to look through it. What's going on?
Do you think that was a good idea?
So it's like 5 inches in diameter. I mean, immediately what you notice is that everything is amber tinted.
God damn it.
How long are you looking through this thing?
I guess for if I don't see anything for a few seconds, after a few seconds, maybe I'll look around a little bit through it. Maybe, let's say, probably no more than 15 seconds if I don't see anything out of the ordinary.
Okay. You start gazing through this lens, trying to find these images, these flashing images that you'd seen through it before already. Maybe start looking around the room with it. And after a couple of seconds, after like 8 seconds or so, you freeze. And in front of the lens, you appear. Everyone else sees this as well. Zael stops moving, as if petrified, and another Zael appears in front of the lens. Zael, you now are sort of perceiving as if you are the new Zael that is in front of the lens.
Fun. Now, am I in control of said body?
It feels very similar to just existing normally. There is a slight disconnect. You can tell that it's not really you, but it pretty much feels like you. I mean, you get sensations. You can feel yourself breathing still.
But can I wiggle my fingers in front of my face?
Yes.
Okay.
You can move around and stuff.
Okay, so I have control currently. I'm not just
a
a passenger.
Hell giving off an illusory magic glow.
I am also going. I don't know. You might I'm not sure if this is the real Zell or not, and I'm kind of freaked out about that idea. Is it visibly happening? Like you said, it was visibly happening.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, you can see it. There's two
Right.
in an instant. There's two Zells in the room. One of them's the original one stops moving, and the new one is moving.
Is this
even
the
if
point
slightly.
a gun to kill one?
There is an aura about this this new Zell, Elantra,
Dorby.
and it is an illusion. It's a moderate illusion, in fact.
So I have control of the illusion of this second body, though, right?
Yep.
So Zell's going to do a bit of a double take across his shoulders and spin around and see himself. Then he's going to admire himself for a second and kind of nod his head as he appreciates what he sees. And then turn around with the rest guys and just say, "What the fuck?"
Do I know what spell has this effect, if any?
Give me a spell. Actually, with the 29, I think that's usually high enough. Let me see. Yes, because this is a spell effect that is in place already. Arcana will do the trick. And a 29 is sufficient. This is very similar to... let me look at my notes real quick. Not notes that I have open right now, of course.
That'd be too convenient.
Exactly.
This really should have been an all wizards party for this adventure so far.
I really now think a bard would be a cool addition with all the knowledge checks.
Oh yeah, true.
If you want a knowledge horror, that's the class to do it.
So this is very similar. It's not quite the same, but it's very similar to a spell called Shadow Projection. It's also got some properties of major image.
Uh-huh.
So whereas Shadow Projection would do sort of this type of thing, but instead of being a perfect image of the person, it would be a literal shadow creature. In this case, it is a perfect image of the person. So,
Is that so? Do you know?
I think so. I feel like me.
Shut up! I don't trust like that. I don't trust you.
It's sort of a not a reflection, but a projection of Zahel. And I like put my arm fully through Zahel's chest. I say watch, and then I do that.
Yeah, I mean you know that this is a
Zell,
magical illusion, so you don't need to roll to disbelieve or anything. So you can fully just punch through his chest if you want to. I guess
It's not a punch. It's
well,
slow.
yeah.
It's weird.
Would I know if this is any can I like sense motive on it to know whether or not like he's
Sure.
going to do something bad? I'm just like, if I fail this, then I feel like I'd probably play it out like that.
It feels like Zell in there.
Okay.
Zell looked down through at the hand sticking into his chest. Now, did you said there was sensation feeling? Do I feel this?
No.
I don't feel it. I don't feel a thing.
I have a new theory. This person has projected themselves elsewhere.
Oh.
And while all this is going on, Percy's, you, eagle-eyed as always, still keeping track of the crystalline man. He has not moved, even with the lens fully removed and Zell gazing through and all that. He remains stuck in place.
So him and Zahel are kind of in the same kind of condition right now, right? We would say.
It's certain. It seems similar.
What happens if I poke corporeal Zahel?
That's a good question.
I think you've already done more than poke me. You stuck
No,
your hand
not
through me.
incorporeal Zahel.
Oh,
Corporeal
corporeal.
Zahel.
Okay.
I mean, there's still give as if he has flesh, so he doesn't feel like stone or anything like that.
But does he move back like the Krisit did?
Yeah, and there is still a sort of response. He's less stable, I guess, because he's standing, than the Krisit is, being a sat down figure. But
do I feel it?
Message on Zahel.
No, you do not feel the poke.
I don't feel a thing.
So we won't have some pissed off ghost running at us right now, is what you're saying.
No, he'd be completely unaware.
Okay.
What happens if I cast message on Zahel?
Which one?
The physical body Zahel.
I shrugged in real life like that did anything to you. You try it.
Yeah, I cast a message. What's your favorite fruit?
Give me a perception check, Zal.
Okay.
This is a trap.
You hear it, but it doesn't feel like it's coming, like it's sound entering your ears, if that makes sense. It's just in your head.
Isn't that what message is to begin with?
No, message is a magical whisper. You still hear it as a whisper. This sort of feels like it bypassed your physical ear.
Clearly understood the question, though, right? Like, not like it was incoherent or anything like that.
Oh yeah, no, you hear fully the words that Elantra spoke.
Pomegranate. Why do you ask?
That is bizarre. Actually, I don't.
Well, I thought they taste fine. I don't. They're a little weird looking.
No, not that. Actually, can I tell the spell was weird? Or is on my end, is it just like, oh, this you whispered to Zahel?
Give me a knowledge arcana. Or I would accept spellcraft too. But you don't need to roll anything else because that is a nat 20. Yeah, I think you've just been able to figure it out. With that one test, you've got it, and it all makes sense to you now. You messaged Zael, but Zael's senses are currently elsewhere in this image. So sort of his physical ears heard the message, and his mind just sort of passed it along to the image version of him, because he is currently controlling that.
Do I know if a shadow projection like spell allows the shadow version of a user to continue to cast spells?
Do you know that? I think what you know is that shadow projection does not let you cast spells through the projection.
Okay.
It's not super clear whether this works in the same way with respect to that. Actually, you just rolled a nat 20. It's clear to you. You also would not be able to cast a spell in this form.
Okay.
At least not one originating from the image.
Okay.
If there was a spell that required only an emotion component or something, that may be able to go off, but it would be centered around the corporeal one.
So during
Okay.
this, Zell's just gonna, well, not during this, but Zell's just gonna take a quick walk around the room. Stand in the middle of the bed and stuff like that. I'm assuming Zell's walks through thing currently.
You get the sense as you walk around that you can walk through things, but you don't have to.
Well, okay.
You
Well,
can,
just as a test, we'll walk like into the bed and just stand in the middle of it for a
yeah,
second before
but I
walking
mean,
off.
you also get the feeling that you could sit on the bed if you wanted to,
Well,
and not in a way that you hover over the bed and make it look like you're sitting on it. You could grab stuff and pick things up and things like that
Okay.
if
Well,
you
then
wanted to, but you can
we'll test
also
that.
just walk through them.
We'll test it out, like walking into the bed and then stepping away and then sitting down on it and seeing that capable of both.
Yeah. All of these things
Perch on the
come
bed.
they come seemingly naturally to you.
From that nat 20, I do think that this Krisit person is projected somewhere, right? I'm gonna milk this for all it's worth.
I'd say you are pretty certain his mind is elsewhere, but you're not able to tell where.
Cool.
And beyond just physical, like the exact location. I mean, you're not able to tell if he's in a shadow or if he's dominating someone, 3 towns over, or if he's, trapped in a nightmare or something. But his mind is not in his body right now.
Man, I wish I had detect thoughts prepared instead of toppling spell magic missile twice. God, it's like the times I prepare for combat, there's no combat. The times I prepare for not combat, there.
I wasn't good to say it,
wrong.
but
Yeah.
it is an unfortunate pattern thus far.
Remember in the mausoleum when I had like identify and tongues prepared?
Yep.
Or comprehend language, not tongues. Is elsewhere.
Okay, it's good to know. So he pretty much didn't sense anything we did to him. Yeah. Okay.
No.
Good. So what are we going to do about Zahel? Zahel, are you okay?
So when I was copied, weapons and everything, right?
Yep.
Take my glaive and once again hit the crystal jewel upside the head. Does it make contact?
Yes.
I feel fine.
I like how
Everything
that's
seems
become your
fine.
tests. It's like, I'm gonna hit the stranger.
Just tapping him. He doesn't seem to mind.
Tink, tink, tink.
Not the litmus test I choose, but
So we could wait here, but that leaves the possibility that since this person has not left this room for 9 days, we could be here as long as they are renting the room.
Yeah,
Who knows what they're doing out there?
Exactly. They could. So there are options for what they're doing, right? They could be trapped in some sort of magical prison in their own mind. They could be projected as Sahel is, or they could be dominating someone or otherwise occupying another body. I have become fearful upon this realization that people who have lost time and been unaware of themselves are being projected and perhaps controlled against their will. To what end, I do not know.
Could it possibly happen to our friend over here?
Hold on.
I
Who was the first
don't
person
think so.
to be afflicted? Ugh.
Helibonia.
The person that was conveniently very close to him. The
Mm-hmm.
crystal dude.
Okay. Indeed.
Yes, the person that was very close to him, who had the keys, and was seen out in a pub with their friend.
So the contract was to figure this out, right? We did. I think we figured it out. Do we just tell them?
Well, we figured out. We know what the spectral people are. We think we know who is behind it. We don't know why. And we don't know if stopping this person will stop it. Powerful wizards are scant to travel and work in complete isolation, because as you well know, we are powerful in some respects, but not capable of sustaining physical damage.
Very true.
I worry that if we were to just turn this person into the authorities, it would be the equivalent of turning in the neighborhood weed dealer, and the people who import the weed from the cartels are left able to continue importing.
I understand that. I'm the cartel. Yes.
Okay. Well, shit. Well, I know I definitely don't want to be in that condition, so I definitely don't touch that lens.
So if we are going with the possession angle, do we think this crystal dude is playing possession hopscotch?
Here's a question. So hell, what happens if you step into my body?
Zell, try it out. Move forward and step towards Elantris.
Do you step forward with the intention of walking through them?
Or stepping into the same space that they are occupying.
Yeah. Is it your intention as the controller of this image to be solid in this moment?
No.
Then you walk into them and you share the same space.
No, I just try to walk into him physically. Okay.
Or
I've slightly changed the rules of this
You hit
magic
people
item,
from the
so I need to
inside?
take notes so I can update the thing.
don't try it. Or what if the other illusions are a cover for a projection trying to do something specific? Where have the projections been seen? It was the guy here, and they were seen at the museum today. Where else were they seen from the reports we got?
So if you flip through the reports, they're sort of scattered all about town. You don't have a great idea of where a lot of these locations are, but it's not like it's the same location over and over and over and over again. The museum does come up twice. And this this inn comes up once. And rather, I guess it comes up twice. Once is the Helibonian one, and one is an image was seen here, whereas Helibonia's image was seen elsewhere.
When was that image seen? Does it say?
Yeah, you have dates for all of these.
I imagine Elantra is looking over these, and Zell's just kind of looking over them, over his out of his shoulder, I guess. Not quite over, but
So it was 4 days ago that the image was seen here.
when did oh my gosh, Scrolling up to find the name. Helibonia. When did Helibonia say the guest came for this dude?
9 days ago.
Yeah, it was the same day that Helibonia collapsed. 9
Okay,
days.
okay. So
Did we get a description of the guest?
we did.
I don't
not,
think
think
so. And yeah, I
Are
don't
you
think
sure?
anyone.
Because
asked.
Helibonia said a lot of things.
I don't think you got a description.
I think Helibonia got really stuck on the how did he talk to me if he didn't have a mouth thing.
Oh yeah.
Zell's gonna walk over to his own body now and try to stand in the same space and even like try to line up the arms exactly type of thing.
You're able to do so.
Anything happen?
No.
What if okay?
Is it so?
Punch her.
I think
Mhm.
even though you're not like super familiar with magic, not being a spellcaster and all, I think you get a sense that you can turn this off if you want to.
Okay.
You're not stuck here and you don't have to do anything special to turn it off. You can
Okay.
just say, I'm done.
I'm not just gonna be a ghost for the rest of the campaign or whatever.
Not unless you want to be.
Could be fun.
Zell's gonna poke his head through the door real quick and just take a quick look around, just see if it's
I
possible.
assume literally.
Yes,
Okay,
literally.
then yeah, head through door.
Just take a quick look around.
I love
Does
that
it
you have
see
to
anything?
specify.
Yeah.
Here's your perception check. No.
Yeah, the upstairs hallway area is quiet as it was when you first walked up.
Okay.
You're not able to hear anything from downstairs. You're too far away.
As he pops his head back in, just gives the all clear real quick.
I give it a good hearty thumbs up. So I don't.
I don't know what we would gain by staying here unless we had a way to find where this person is projecting their mind or keeping their mind or otherwise. I
Go ahead.
also don't know how to feel about leaving this the
Lens
I
or
have to
whatever.
scroll up to where I wrote it. Collected Stories and Fables of the World, original copy here.
I really don't care too much, but they might see that as thievery. I'm not sure. Do you think that would-
Yes,
I couldn't care, I can say, but just in case, I wouldn't brag to the guard
no,
about it.
that's what I'm thinking as well.
Zell's gonna snap back to his body now. And then immediately,
there goes gravity.
as soon as that's done, if it takes a second to orient himself, but we'll say that we need to do something about that orb. I know what they can do, and it's never pretty.
So as you sort of cancel this illusion, it disappears just as quickly as it appeared, and you regain full control of your body, being able to move the lens away from your eye, and you are Zell normally once again.
Well, what would you have us do? I say to Zahel, gesturing to the orb.
Shrugging, take it at the very least. We can't leave it here.
As long as one of you do it, I'll be near it, but I'm not touching it if I have to.
Any objection?
Could you put
I'll
a
touch
cloth
it.
over it and so
yeah, it would. So, yeah, go ahead.
if we're gonna steal the books, we can steal the bag too, but just be a bunch of scattered books.
Yeah, because you activate it by looking at it, right? Or how's it activated?
The lens, yeah, it looked like I think it was activated and
Looking
was
through
looking
it.
through it.
Yeah, so I would. If we, I don't. Do I have it? I guess we have. There's like cloth around we could use, but
I mean, there's a
I don't-
bed with a bed sheet if you're really just
Yeah.
looking for material.
Is there any objection to trying to take it? Or do we, I mean, do you really just want to leave it?
take one of the pillowcases.
Oh, do they have pillowcases?
Yeah, that's a good question. Do they have
Dude, I
pillows?
don't know.
When would pillowcases
I've
introduced
googled a
as
lot of
the
weird
bedding-
shit.
Well,
but-
bedding template.
I don't give a shit about the health of the pillow. We can split open the pillow or their pillows at least. Because I can take some stuffing out if I have to. It's fine.
1921. There's no pillowcases.
We use the bedding.
Pillows have apparently been around since 7000 BCE in early Mesopotamia, according to Google.
Really?
That makes
I guess
sense.
that makes sense because it's natural to want to be comfortable.
Honestly, I would figure it'd be sooner than that. I would think we'd be making makeshift pillows for most of human existence. I guess.
Well,
unless,
yeah, probably there has been some form of pillow,
yeah, or some.
but
Sort
it's
of
just sort of
headresting.
difficult to prove past a certain
Yeah.
point, I imagine. Especially if they're
guess-
just like piling leaves at night, you know?
Yeah. I guess you could define a pillow as an object that
Love how
Of
off
padding
topic
that
it goes
was
so fast.
made to do
Yeah.
just that, a pile of leaves or something like that.
But yeah, pretty much the
It's
gist is I
important
wanna
to know
do
these
the
things,
least amount
though.
of damage as possible, get this thing covered up with some kind of material.
I'm totally down to covering it with something and grabbing it first, or grabbing it after that type of thing. I just don't think we should leave it here because don't trust these orbs one bit.
That's
I'm
fine.
ready. I'd ready to take this and take it back to the Seekers Guild. Enough said.
And discuss it with people who were probably more in the know about these kind of things.
I'm not suggesting we just abandon the mission, but if it comes to getting rid of this orb, Zell's
This
pretty
is now a
happy to do whatever
secondary
it takes.
objective.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Very
if there's no other objection, we'll do that. We'll try draping the bedding over it. Obviously not just like tossing the whole thing on it. Maybe fold it over a couple times to make it at least manageable. And does the orb just float there with the bedding on it,
Mm-hmm.
covering it?
It
Okay.
looks like
Well,
a spooky ghost.
It looks like a very
Yeah.
thin, spooky ghost.
then, well, then gotta just try to take a hold of it.
Okay. Give me a strength check.
I'm gonna do real dice this time. That's just plus my my ability score modifier, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not looking good. That's a natural 1, boys.
Well, you
5.
as you push and yank on this thing, it doesn't budge at all. There's no give to it. You spend several seconds trying to go at it. Maybe the sheet is getting like making it hard for you to hold a stationary grip on it or something.
No.
But as you keep yanking and pulling at this thing and it doesn't move, you feel a sort of pulling sensation. Almost like on a roller coaster, you know? When you're going uphill, you get that pulling backwards, except it's pulling you forward. It doesn't actually begin to move you, but the sensation is there, and it begins to grow in intensity the longer you hold onto the orb.
Okay, I will let go at that point. After
The sensation goes away as soon as you release the orb.
I'll be careful with that.
So if I recall,
It's
the
not
box was a stronger magical aura than the orb, right?
Just a moment. Yes.
And I already rolled to try to determine the like effects on them, and I couldn't, right? I think I did that last session.
Yeah, you struck out on identifying any of these items.
Great.
You know the box is... Oh, actually, do you know this? Yeah, I'm pretty sure you know the box is a puzzle box.
Right.
But you don't know anything about
shit.
its magical nature.
Oh shit. Do I think that this guy is in the puzzle box? Do I think he's projected into the puzzle box somehow? Do I think it contains a pocket dimension and he's in there?
Give me a spellcraft check.
What a dead average roll.
So with a 19, I think you can tell that the box is not, or rather the properties of the box would not be enough to contain a consciousness.
Okay.
But it could contain something. And there's some other magic that does other stuff with the box. It's not just this one property of it contains a thing. But so its sort of magical space is split among a couple of different things that it does. So you don't think he's in the box.
Okay. Wow.
Okay, so he's not in the box. That's good. I guess. So is it like something we got like a sliding puzzle to solve to open it, like one of those puzzle box kind of things?
Yeah, sort of. I mean, it's like a combination of a Rubik's Cube, and I think I used this reference last time, and the box from Hellraiser. So there's some twisty bits. There's parts that you can like push and fully like shift, and then you can twist it more and push. You know, it's more complicated than a Rubik's Cube would be.
Okay.
What happens if I try to move the puzzle box?
You reach out and move the puzzle box. The stone sphere remains in the air where it was.
Do I think I could solve this puzzle box right here, right now?
It is currently solved.
It is currently solved.
It is solved and open. I'm sorry if that was
Solved and
not clear.
open.
Oh,
It is
no, I
it is
assumed it was a
open.
sealed puzzle box.
I apologize.
Oh,
It
okay.
was sat on the floor open.
Got you. Okay.
This changes everything.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Do we want to take a quick bathroom / bread punching break?
Yeah.
While you
Wait.
mull over this new revelation.
bread punching.
I'm gonna mull for another minute and 32 seconds
Oh, before you have to punch bread.
before I have to punch bread, punch and divide. And I bought a loaf pan at Goodwill today, so one will be actually loaf shaped, and the other one I'm gonna do in a round Pyrex dish. Don't tell the bread police about that.
Okay, so we aren't talking about
Apparently
any
not
sort of
bread.
euphemisms or anything like that. We're talking
No,
about
yeah.
bread.
they made
I
bread.
literally sent Dalf a message like 6:30 ish. Sorry, 7:30 Eastern, and I was like, "Hey, I started making bread. Hopefully, it's rising while we're playing D&D."
Okay,
You will pay for your bread
so
crime.
just for my immediate context where my brain went, my father always used there's a loaf baking in the oven for a code brown. So
Ah.
I'm
What a
one
good
of
No, I
these
don't have to
try-
talk to a man about a horse.
Yeah, I could see how bread punching might connect to that in a way.
Like maybe that phrase is like shifted or something that I don't know about. but-
Couldn't afford a plunger, so I'm literally about to.
We only say it in Maine. It slipped out. I'm sorry.
All right, well, I'm going to at least take this time to take a break because
Yeah,
I gotta
I
urinate.
You're right, man.
Yeah, I'll be back in a few minutes.
I'm going to sit here the entire time.
You can entertain the Twitch chat.
I'll stream real quick. Watch me. I don't know. Die in Tarkov.
I am back.
Welcome back.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
I'm not punching, but I'm handling pizza right now. So.
Nice. So how was everyone's day?
What's that?
How was everyone's day?
Frustrating.
Dang.
Your assistance was appreciated. That wasn't the frustrating part.
Mine went by fast because I was right at the end of our sprint almost. It was turning little mini deadlines, and that's annoying.
Tiring. Darn.
It's hard being.
Oh,
Go ahead.
completely no, you go ahead. I'm going to change the subject entirely.
I was saying it's hard being Scrum Master and trying to unscrew yourself.
Oh. Oh gosh, why did I plan this?
Need to wake up so fucking rich. Yeah,
I
don't we all?
wanted to ask, have either of you seen Arcane?
Nope.
It is very, very good, and I don't care a dick about League of Legends.
I know it has that one song. Oh, the misery.
Oh, Imagine Dragons, yeah.
Everybody wants to be my enemy.
I'm not finished, but I am very impressed with how good it is, and it has me pretty hooked, despite, like I said, not caring about League of Legends at all. It's just a solid show in general.
Work.
Yeah, I've been hearing pretty consistently good things. I think I heard one person was disappointed with the ending.
Okay, I've
of
not
this
gotten
season.
the ending. I don't even know how many episodes there are.
Yeah, I don't
Top lane throws.
And I don't know, like, I mean, I could see maybe people getting bent out of shape if it like didn't line up with the existing league lore or something like that. It kind of feels like they're horseshoeing a lot of what I assume to be heroes in the game, just
Mhm.
to kind of like have a lot of names. But I don't know if that's like their official backstory prior to this or something or not. But without any knowledge of existing lore, it holds up pretty well.
Yeah, I'll watch it eventually, but season 2 of the Dota anime just came out, so I've got my allegiances there. I got to watch that first.
Is it actually good from a show perspective? Because that is, I mean, I've seen that.
I enjoyed the first season. I heard the second season is better, which is nice, but I've also heard that Arcane is better than the Dota anime, which
Okay.
is
So I shouldn't. I mean, I'm not gonna. I mean, this does. Arcane does seem like it's better than it has any right to be.
yeah.
Thing, for what it is. So, but I mean, as long as it can be, as long as the Dota thing can be enjoyed without like having a solid understanding of it, it's not just fan service type of thing.
Oh yeah, you don't need to. They don't really even call up that many Dota like playable Dota characters in the first season, at least.
Hmm.
It was like 6. Although there's a +1 because after the anime came out, one of the characters from the anime became a playable hero. So
Oh.
they've got the
Which character was
pipeline
that?
there already.
Welcome back. And how was your bread?
It had risen beautifully.
Excellent
Excellent.
news.
Hell yeah. Just make sure you don't get a
Toilet
soggy
wasn't
bottom.
involved at all.
So, okay, you want to know my anti-soggy bottom trick for bread?
What is it? I need
So
to
you
know.
bake it for like the recipe that I'm loosely following calls for 35 minutes. So I'm
Mhm.
going to go for 32 minutes. Then I'm going to take them out of the oven, leave the oven on, turn them out of the tins and put them straight on the rack so that the warm, dry, hot air gets at the crust at the bottom to crisp it up a little bit.
You're lucky the bread police aren't there because you're a madman. That actually does sound like a good idea, though.
My Charles of Storied History actually put me onto that trick.
Word. That's really cool. I might try that one day. If I ever decide to make bread. I feel like I've done it a couple times. It's very satisfying.
Mhm.
It's like I spent like $1 on this, and it's
I
food.
feel like I don't know what to do with just bread that I make, you know? Like if I make a
Here's-
bagel, I know what to do with bagels. If I make like cake, that's pretty straightforward. But if I just make bread, I don't know, I'm
You
not
can
like
do
a
what I
bread
do
and
and,
butter type. So
I put a cheese slice in between 2 slices and eat it over the sink. Probably like usually at like 1 or 2 in the morning.
yeah. I mean that's valid too. I guess
Oh, yeah.
you could class it up just maybe the tiniest half step and make a grilled cheese out of homemade bread, depending
Yeah,
on
I usually end up being
size
too
and
lazy to make
shape.
a raw grilled cheese. I just do it.
I
raw.
watched
raw
a
bread, raw cheese.
video. I watched a video of
Sorry, raw toast and raw cheese. Go on, side.
It was this video of like home cook versus pro chef with a like $9 grilled cheese ingredients versus $75 grilled cheese ingredients.
Wow.
The chef, and they switched recipes. So like the home cook follows the chef's recipe and the chef follows the home cook's recipe. Except the chef never follows the home cook's recipe. He always goes off the fucking rails. I binged this series quite a bit. But he got her like curd and was like, "Hey, make fresh mozzarella."
Oh no!
Meanwhile,
I love the milk out in the sun.
her recipe was like she has this press that you put on the thing that seals the grilled cheese like it's an uncrustable.
Mm-hmm.
And her filling was mozzarella and ricotta, which I would never think to put those cheeses in a grilled cheese.
Those
personally.
don't scream grilled cheese to me. I feel like if you're
Oh,
doing anything that's not a yellow cheese, you're way off script for grilled cheese already.
I can agree with that.
She's also like an Italian woman from Brooklyn.
Okay, so she bleeds ricotta, is what you're telling me.
And apparently the chef was like blown away by the ricotta in there, but he also added like a sautéed pepper and she had like a box of tomato soup, and he used that to make this like fucking tomato fondue.
Huh.
It was a sight to behold. I was very hungry, so I'm probably going to do some version of that with my bread. Other than just general sandwich and jam use. And I also made spaghetti and meatballs today, so I might like do some like garlic butter toast with it.
Ooh.
Now we're talking.
I'm curious how this is going to turn out. Last time I used all-purpose flour. This time I used 5 parts bread flour, 1 part all-purpose flour. Just because the all-purpose flour can sometimes give a nicer flavor.
I like it.
So yeah,
So, puzzle boxes, huh?
puzzle boxes.
Open puzzle boxes.
Yes, you've grabbed this open puzzle box.
Is there something inside that I can see?
That you can see, no.
Is there something inside that I can't see?
Do you sense it?
I think as you look into it, you recognize an extra dimensional storage space.
Aha!
When you see it.
Huh.
Extra dimensional storage space.
Bag of holding, I guess.
Very similar to that, yes.
I'm not sure if
So
Percy's been-
not someone's personal demi-plane. Got it.
Yeah, at least not for. Probably there's not enough oxygen. Or I guess there's crystal.
Steal it, we need one. It's not as big as you want it to be, Welby. It's also very hard to open.
Ooh.
Need when I have 4 strength.
Ooh. I reach my hand in. And I want to try to pull out a book.
You reach your hand in and pull out nothing.
Can you invert a puzzle box?
No.
I try to invert the puzzle.
You can turn it upside down, but I imagine what you're trying to do is the equivalent of literally like punching through the bottom of a bag, so the inside becomes the outside. Type of thing?
Yeah, so that it spills all the contents out.
Yeah, you can't really do that with this.
Should have taken that level in Woodworker. Okay.
It's empty. Let's
So
go.
we have this pouch thing, and we have.
Yes, I explained the extra dimensional space and bring up the bag of holding analogy to the group.
Yeah, I think it probably would become clearly illustrated when they put their hand fully in the box.
Oh yeah,
and it disappears, like halfway up their arm.
So how big is the opening of this box?
It is a 6-inch cube.
Okay. So
And the top just sort of like lifts up,
Okay, so we know what this is. We don't know what is or was in it. We could try to guess and pull random things out, but I don't know how successful that would be.
Probably not very. If you've thought of everything and tried to pull that out, or you thought of something and tried to pull it out, it's probably very obvious. And it won't be obvious. Well, I guess food, but like I don't know if it's specific food. But I don't want to steal a person's food.
Shall we try again to move this orb?
Sure. I mean, yeah, we could try it. Can Zahel try again, or is it?
So I think it's your turn.
Can I give help?
In what way would you be helping?
I
You're
didn't
just going to grab
think
on and
that
pull
far
at the
ahead.
same time or something?
We got a sheet. We could all tug.
Yeah, I think I am just gonna grab on and pull. But
Zell's gonna join in, assuming we have enough bedding.
Yeah, I mean, you could grab on corners of this sheet that you have and sort of all try and pull on it that way.
As long as it doesn't rocket out of the sheet at the force of like a bullet. Could happen though. If it tears through it, I guess. We can. Yeah, I'll try it. I reluctantly agree, since I look.
So you grabbing the sheet as well? Or you go grabbing the orb?
Yeah, he reluctantly grabs it. Yeah.
ooh.
So hold on. Are you grabbing the
You
sheet, or are you
guys-
going toward the actual physical orb?
You guys both grab the sheet. I will
Okay.
push the orb, but hold on to it so that if it's like being pulled away by the sheet, I'll just wrap my arms around it.
Okay.
I
So it
will like
doesn't,
to
like,
try
fly
plan A
into the-
first before we try plan B.
Okay.
Wait,
That's my
I'm sorry.
character.
Explain that again, Sock.
So like, if they're pulling, hang on, let me draw arrows to make this perfectly clear. If they're pulling this way, here's the orb, here's the sheet.
Uh-huh.
I will be here pushing this way with my arms wrapped around it so that if it like dislodges and it's going to like fly towards them or fall, I can just grab it. And prevent
Okay,
it
so
from
you're
doing
going to
so.
like bear hug this orb, basically.
Yes.
Okay.
Pushing with your chest? Or-
You know, like dominant shoulder.
Okay.
Yeah,
We're doing
okay.
rope pull downs.
So you sort of clutch up against this using a hard point on your shoulder so as not to hurt yourself against this stone orb, and the other two have sides of the sheet. You all attempt to move this thing. I'm going to need 3 strength checks.
Can do.
That one's much better.
That's the best I've ever rolled on a strength check.
The 3 of you combined put out a lot of force. Even not pulling very hard, Percy's incel just leaning back and holding on the sheet would be a lot of force. That would move most things. Percy's doing that by himself probably would move most things. This orb does not move.
Great.
And Elantra, as you do this, the longer you hold close to this orb, the greater building sensation that you're being sort of pulled into it becomes.
I'm a too smart for my own good wizard. Do I think it will slurp me in?
You can give me a knowledge arcana for that. Not your body.
Oh shit! I let go.
The sensation dissipates.
Fuck. Shit. Fuck. I just looked at my webcam dead in the eyes like we're filming this.
The FBI man will be very pleased, though.
The like camera acting that I'm doing that you guys can't see because this is just video. Oh, God.
So it was like his soul, I guess.
Or like mind.
Or mind. Okay.
There's a guy who's been meditating here this whole time, whose mind seems to be elsewhere.
I wonder how it even got here.
I have a foolish idea.
I'm down for it.
What if I were to project myself with a lens and then use that to go inside of this orb?
What about
All yours.
What
And
about the bag of holding thing? What if we put it in the dimension, think about the orb and pull it back out? Will it be going forever, you think?
I don't think the opening's big enough to fit the orb.
It is.
How big's the orb?
Let me get an exact number for you.
Because it had to have come from somewhere. It's not like it just originated here. It was probably transported via that puzzle box.
Very good point. If it could fit. I didn't realize.
The orb is like a 3-inch diameter, something around there.
Oh, the orb is a lot smaller than I thought. Okay.
I've been picturing like a 2-foot diameter like medicine or like exercise ball.
You were kind
size.
of drawing it like a bowling ball.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Yeah, it's not particularly large. I mean, the lens was sort of orbiting around it, but the lens is bigger than the orb fully. The lens is
I'm
5
totally
inches in
picturing-
diameter.
I'm picturing the lens being a smaller object orbiting around a bigger object type of deal.
Wow, so it's like the size of this orange that I'm holding up to the webcam that isn't on.
Yeah.
Little does Duff know, I have the biggest oranges in the world.
I mean, there is a lot of variance in orange sizes.
Yeah, because I totally see that now. Looking at the artifact of the thought core, it was 2.5 inches in diameter. That is small.
Yeah, it's not particularly big.
Boy, it's a lot for its size. I guess we already know that. Well,
It's,
sure we.
Yeah, the ones you had found before are solid stone. And it's a stone from the plane of chaos that you don't know much else about, but it's very dense.
Very. Okay,
Blood
so
oranges
yeah,
are
go
giant.
for it. Puzzle
I
box.
don't think I've ever actually seen one
Have we
in
tried
person.
using the by the way the lens on it? Not the lens, but the
monocle?
the monocle. That's the right word.
Yeah, the monocle didn't give us a lot.
It didn't give us a lot. Okay.
Besides that, it was the same kind of stone as the other one.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So do you want to try that? I mean, I don't know much about Arcana, so I don't know if
Can I foresee anything catastrophic happening if we try this?
And what are you trying again?
To put the orb into the puzzle box.
I guess putting the puzzle box around the orb.
Yeah.
No, I don't think you do.
Okay, it's not like a extra dimensional space inside an extra dimensional space
think,
causing
just
a
do it.
rift that kills us all or something.
or like disconnecting the people in the Matrix or something like that.
That may happen. Because if this is an extra plane of space, then any objects within it are not on the same, are not on the prime material plane, which would mean that should this person's consciousness be inside of this orb, they will likely be, the connection will be severed one way or the other. Either they will return to their body or they will be trapped inside. That is a risk I'm willing to take.
I couldn't care less, so sure, yeah, it's fine. I mean,
Okay.
I mean, I would like to avoid life, but I mean,
I
think-
throw the sheet back onto the bed, and I'm just going to scoop the orb up in the puzzle box.
As you bring the puzzle box up to the orb, it resists entry. And you're unable to move the box any further, such that
Like
the orb would
magnets.
be within it. Yes, this is again similar to a sort of magnetic feeling. Force at a distance.
Yeah. Okay, so that won't work. I don't have any ideas immediately.
Did you want to touch the orb in your spiritual form or whatever still?
Yes, I think that is the other idea that we have left to try.
I think Zell handed over the lens when you propositioned that idea.
Yeah, so I'm going to sit down in a similar meditative posture and look through the lens.
Okay. After several seconds of focusing through the lens, your body freezes and you become a projected image on the opposite side of the lens.
Cool. I will then hold the orb tightly to my projected body.
You do not feel the pulling sensation that you felt before. It just feels like you're holding a stone in your hand.
Can I move the orb?
No.
Okay.
It still resists you moving it.
But it's not pulling him like the other one, the other
Right.
method.
Yeah, you don't get that sensation.
Doesn't have the same pull. Interesting. I shall return to my body.
Okay. Just as quickly as your image appeared, it disappears and you are back in your body.
Anything
think
interesting?
Go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, anything interesting? Like,
I didn't have the same pulling sensation as we've experienced. I don't know what else we can glean from being here.
I can't think of anything either.
I mean, Zell really doesn't like the idea of leaving the orb, but I don't think he sees any other option as well.
So, are we to take the things we have found here?
Yes.
At least we can report what we have found so far. It doesn't need to be the end of like.
Certainly the monocle, because it's definitely related to the projecting. I don't think any of us think it's unrelated at this point, and
That part can at least get
am I-
explained to them.
And the
Oh, this is interesting. This changes some things that I did not think
before
about.
the vine wrap around the
the
crystalline
collected
fella.
stories, the puzzle cube, the scroll binder.
That's up to you. Do we want to bring the first edition to the museum people and see what if they have anything to say about it?
No, I don't think that they will be useful to us. They don't seem keen to aid our investigation. I would say I also think that these notes, and the name Akundili are important. I do have one thing I could try. I could see if this Krisit is named Akundili.
Good.
Just with a message, see if that reaches them any better than the one previously.
Wouldn't Helibone know the guest name?
Yes, that's perhaps a better idea. Shall we stow these things on our persons and ask Helibonia?
Yeah, sure. Though probably not make it obvious that we're taking things from the guest room to him. I would assume we're stashing this,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yes. That's what I mean by stow these things on our person.
Okay,
Just
okay.
like in bags, kind of like,
Just come out of the guest room, just carrying a bunch of stuff. Hey, what's this dude's name?
Like we read the speech notes over or something and use that to identify it or something. I don't know.
So you're taking the puzzle box, the lens, the binder, and the first edition book
And
as
the
well,
notes.
and the
sheet.
notes. Okay.
And I want to try to leave the room more or less how we found it. So it's not just like, I want it to be not immediately obvious that we've taken things and not immediately obvious that we pulled the bed sheets off and such. Like, I don't care if the bed is perfectly made as it was, but I just want it to be like less out of order, if that makes sense.
Not like we just tossed the room.
Yeah, and
Right.
put like the books back in the bag and stuff like that.
That look ransacked.
Yeah.
Okay. You're not going to spend a ton of time on this. You're just roughly making it look how it was.
I want it. I don't care. Like, if somebody who knew what the room looked like comes in, they will know either way.
Okay.
But if somebody who hadn't seen the room, they would just think, oh, the bed might be a little slept in.
Okay. So you put the bed sheet back on, like return the books to the bag, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then, make sure that the chair is roughly where it was near the desk, and the ice chest is closed and stuff, and then make your
Yes.
way out of the room. Do you lock it?
Yes. Unless anyone has reason not to.
No,
Was it locked
objections.
when it was not locked when we got here?
Ooh.
It was locked
Do
when you got
we-
here.
Yeah, okay. then it
Do
wouldn't
we
lock.
leave it unlocked in case we need to come back here without Helibonia knowing?
Sure. I mean,
Smart, this one.
us locking the door doesn't really benefit us in any way.
Depends on who. If someone wants to get that orb, though.
It simply prevents someone without the keys from entering.
Yeah.
We can lock it.
Well, we don't know anything about this guy. We probably should lock his door.
Yeah, we should lock it.
Especially because there's a dangerous orb behind that door. We don't want anyone walking in.
Yeah, sounds like a solid plan.
We just, went in, took some stuff, and now we're worried about his well-being.
Okay, so you lock the door, and head downstairs. As you return to the first floor, and I guess as you go down the staircase and approach the first floor even, you hear Helibonia speaking with someone out in the front lobby.
Is the voice familiar?
No.
Cool.
Where are we? Are we coming down the stairs? Are we still on the balcony? On the third story?
I assumed you were going down the stairs to the first floor.
So are we, obviously in sight yet?
No. The stairs are so the front desk, and then to the left of the front desk. The front desk faces the front door, so sort of from Helibonia's point of view, it's the right and behind is where you are in this spiral staircase that's shoved off in a weird corner.
But what about the person, whoever he's talking to?
There's a bit of a hallway. They wouldn't be able to see you until you got pretty close to the corner of the hallway and the sort of main lobby. So for now, you're hidden.
Can we overhear what they're saying in any way?
Sure. Give me a perception check.
All of us?
Yeah, anyone who's trying to listen in.
20. Ooh.
Okay, Percy's, you can't quite make it out, but the other two of you hear essentially. And how long is your stay going to be? How many days are you going to be here? Is it going to be more than a week or less than a week? Because the pricing changes if you go more than a week. Oh, it's going to be 8 days. Okay, so that's more than a week, and so that's going to be so it's like pretty innocuous conversation thus far, at least, trying to set someone up with a room.
Cool. I think then we're pretty safe to walk out in the lobby then.
Agreed.
Yeah, if the person doesn't seem suspicious, don't press. Just return the keys, I guess. Drop them off casually. Or
Well, we want to at least ask Helibonia what the guest name was.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
So I guess we'll wait for them to finish their business. We're gonna be here for a while.
Okay, there's I'll say there's some chairs in the lobby area. You can sit down if you want to. And once it becomes clear that you're not walking out the door, Helibonia will sort of holler over the like in the middle of his sentence, he will holler over to y'all. I'll be with you in just a second. Just a moment. Let me just finish with this customer and they'll be right with you. And then he continues back with the sentence that he was in the middle of.
Patiently.
It is a far longer wait than this transaction should have taken.
What is? Are there any details that I notice about the guest checking in?
Sure. It is an elvish man. They are of slightly above average height. The brown hair. Was that? Does that flip the whole situation for you? You've nailed them down now.
It's a binary gendered Hyundai Elantra checking in.
They're wearing pretty like common clothing, nothing made out of any like super expensive fabrics or anything like that. And they've just got a 2 small bags with them. Eventually, the conversation concludes, and Helibonia flits underneath the desk, comes back up with 3 rings of keys, and starts like flipping through a bunch of keys, looking for the right one. Eventually, pulls one off the ring and hands it to the customer and gives them some long-winded directions to their room. And the elf walks away, grabs their bags and walks away, key in hand.
All right, so I guess we go up to talk to her. Now we're finally here, and then do we explain the situation to her, or like how much of the situation we're going to explain? The whole
Him?
thing, or him? Sorry. Oh yeah.
I think we are just gonna ask him the name of the guest.
Okay.
I don't think we tell this person sensitive information ever.
Yes, ever.
Makes sense. Now that I think about it.
So Helibonia is sitting on the desk, just like quietly, after they dealt with this customer. As I guess y'all approach. Can I help you?
You wouldn't happen to know the name of that person or crystal that was there, right?
Where?
At the
The
room
guest
we
in
checked.
room G on the 3rd floor.
There you go.
Room G on the 3rd. Wait, I'm not supposed to tell people the names of our guests. I'm not supposed to give out any personal information because I don't know what your intentions are. And he thrusts a sort of accusing poke in Percy's general direction. So I don't think I'm going to tell you.
Okay, well,
I would get in a lot of trouble if I told you.
do you remember just an hour or so ago when you gave us the keys to their room?
That doesn't sound like something I would do.
I hold up the keys to the room.
Where did you get those?
From you.
No, that doesn't make any sense. I lost them. Did I leave them up there? Did I go and check? I don't remember checking, but maybe I did. Maybe I went and checked on that room because I haven't seen that guy in several days. Maybe I checked on the room and left the keys up there. Were they just like on the floor or like in the lock or something?
They were in your hand and you put them into my hand.
No, that can't be right. I would get in a lot of trouble if I did that.
This might remind you. Do you remember thinking about how you didn't know how they talk to you considering that Krisits don't have mouths?
His eyes go wide and he stares off into the distance. Oh my. In August's name, how was he speaking to me if he doesn't have a mouth?
You with me now?
I mean, we're in the same room, if that's what you mean.
Can someone else lead this conversation? And I just like take a step back and like shove both of them in front of me as much as a tiny wizard can shove the two strong people.
There was a. Oh, shit.
What did? I'm trying to remember what he said to us last time. That was like he should have told us.
It was a well-being check. Well, that the person
Yeah, we were
visited.
doing
Oh
a
yeah,
wellness check.
yes.
And he was saying how he let the guest in that he wasn't supposed to, and we were saying, well, we'll do a wellness check.
We can
He's
pretend to
like,
be
well,
the
I'm not supposed
guest
to.
that he was supposed to see.
I think we just stick with the same story that we gave him earlier.
Okay.
That we are the seekers and we just did a well-being check and we wanted to make sure we get this person's name.
Sure. Yeah, that works. We don't have to at least do any deception there. So
Just straight up appeal to our authority as people who remember things, you know?
yes. That's okay.
So we were just here talking to you, and you told us about a guest you had not seen for 9 days, was it? Right? And so we offered to do a wellness check, hence the keys. And now we're back from the wellness check, and we just want to know this person's name.
He narrows his eyes at you. Are you with the city guard?
Of a sorts.
The order?
Mm-hmm.
And order, yeah.
I mean, yes, the
All
order.
right. Well, I guess I won't get in too much trouble. You have official business, I suppose, right?
Yes, very official.
Well, his name was Akundali.
Thank you. I think that's all we need to know. Here's your keys.
Oh, did you find them? He grabs the keys. I lost them.
Yes, we found them.
Great. Don't tell my boss I lost the keys. That's a big no-no. I'm not supposed to lose anything, let alone the keys.
Secret's safe for the us.
He winks
forget it anyway.
and flies the keys under the desk to put them away.
All right. So are we talking to the museum person? Or we already... So that was the person's name. How we know that name again?
It was on the piece
on
of
the notes.
Yes, the speaker's
Akundali.
notes.
Okay.
So I think we can assume that this person was supposed to speak at the museum.
Yes. this person was supposed to be one of the people who gave the speeches at the museum, and that checks out with the time that they've rented the room.
Okay.
What do the notes say? What were the notes about again? Like, obviously they're like spark notes, but what's the general theme of the talk?
So the title was
How language impacts
The Influence of
society.
Language on the Development of Culture.
Okay, so not how to project yourself in one way.
Right. Yeah. Most
Okay.
of the notes are about long distant cultures and old dialects of like Octon and
Now be like we just
stuff like
stole
that.
this person's book that they rightly own.
Because it's different cultures. Okay. Yep.
'Cause this is literally different languages in a historical text that show
Does that book have
influence
an
on
author on it?
culture. It was
Uh,
Tobar.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
no title or author written on it. But yeah, Elantra did know that this is the original manuscript of that tome written by Tobar.
Okay, just making sure that the book didn't just like was signed like by Kundali type of thing.
Yeah, Tobar was a human.
Okay, and we left
that much
the
Elantra knows.
speaker's notes, right? We didn't take those with us.
I took them, yeah.
Oh,
I
we
took
did.
the speaker's
Okay.
notes.
Well, I guess his speech is canceled now, so he doesn't need them.
I mean, he's been sat in his room for 9 days, so
He doesn't need much apparently.
So where are you headed?
When you messaged me, I heard it.
Yes.
You messaged him, supposedly he would hear it, but no reaction, obviously, right?
He got static back.
And you didn't get that when you messaged me, the static?
You did not.
Okay.
And some potential extra clarity on the static was you heard it in your head, not in your ear.
In my head, not in my ear. Can I make a retroactive like Arcana check on that? Like, just try to like what can I roll to get more info on static? And like just hearing in my head, like, did they cast a spell back at me? Did my spell bounce back? Like, what do I think happened there?
Kind of like you're pondering it now.
Yeah. You can give me an Arcana check. You can sort of recall back at the scenario. This is your spell, so, and it's a cantrip, so I think you have a pretty good feeling for it. It's as if you're not like 100% certain on a 13 of anything in particular about this, but you know already that Krizits communicate telepathically, and you didn't really get the sense that your message was received properly, but the spell worked. You know, the spell wasn't like counterspelled or anything like that.
So I guess my question is, do I think that the static was this person trying to respond? Do I think it was just like the equivalent of when you shake someone in their sleep and they just kind of back at you?
You're not certain.
What a terrible answer.
Well, roll above a 13.
No, I don't want to.
One thing that I didn't ask before you left the room. You all have taken the hood off of him. Did you put it back on?
Yes.
Yeah, I think in an effort to leave the room as it was, that would have been on the list.
Yeah. It's probably just seems respectful too, I guess. Too. Not trying
So,
to be douchebags, but
but with that whole setup, I mean, he obviously set out to do something. Maybe he got in a bit over his head, and now his soul is somehow stuck in the thought core or something like that. But other than that, I mean, he seems to whatever his position was at least somewhat deliberate, right? It wasn't forced upon him like these other persons.
Right. There's certainly a level of intention there that's clear
Yeah.
at this point.
I mean, I'm just like discussing with the party as far as like what we've seen so far. It definitely seems like, I mean, this person isn't necessarily a victim. I mean, he has at least some impact on what's going on here.
what's weird to me is that there was a lens. How did he get himself in a state where all of his senses were deprived? If he looked through the lens.
Well, the lens itself was also doing some orbiting pattern type of thing.
So I think that we've only uncovered one function of this lens that probably has a couple.
Actually, yeah,
And
you didn't mention it.
because we were seeing the flashes of
Yeah,
light with
exactly.
people in them. So my theory is that this was like an observation device where if your consciousness is in that orb, you're able to look out broadly over an area. Or like you like project, like I don't know if there's like a range on the projections, but maybe this is like increasing that or increasing the duration or something.
Using the orb to amplify the artifact's powers, and then is now just
exactly.
And using that to do the hopscotch possession, or just the general overall possession.
I don't know if there is possession, because neither of us, like, you weren't able to like step into my body, right? So I think that's the illusions might just be a side effect.
Well, except some of them. Well, we don't know if some of those illusions were deliberate. I mean, Helibonia's recollection of what he was told he was doing. I mean, he was at a bar talking with another person. It's not just random illusions of just people walking around. There's definitely some intent behind
But at the
at least some of
museum,
them.
they were just random people walking around.
Do we know that? They know they were walking somewhere. One even walked away as if possibly
Oh
going.
shit! No, you're right.
going.
So okay, so there's decoy illusions, and then there are specific illusions that are impersonating people, and they're using that to get something. The one that walked at the back of the museum,
We
was
don't know what
getting-
happened to them.
Yeah, they were going for something specific.
And we know based on what we've done. I mean, there's physical interaction too. It's not just
Yeah.
no touchy.
So they could create illusions and make it seem like all of them are illusions and ghostly, and then one of them is a real person who has some goal.
Well, he doesn't even need to be a real person. I mean, if I can hit,
Yeah, but like
Crystal Dude with
a
a
real
stick.
projection, where the
Yeah,
others are
yeah,
just
yeah.
purely illusory.
Okay.
So to what
Now-
end? It's something to do with the Globe Museum, the Royal Globe Museum.
Is there any? You got that Fable book? Is there anything remotely
I think that is a
mythical
prop.
in this region?
I think that's a prop for the speech that they were going to give.
Okay.
If I look at the speech, does that confirm that theory? Does it talk about collection of stories and fables?
The title of the book is not called out anywhere in the notes, but you do see one like bullet point on the second page of notes that like references the tome.
Okay, so I mean, and it was along with in a pack with other books, so okay. I mean, it's definitely an expensive prop if it's
And
just a prop.
what was the list of spell scrolls? Tongues, voluminous vocabulary, seek thoughts, share memory, sending, analyze aura.
Yeah, you flipped through and recognized some and didn't recognize others, so you could spend time to identify the others if you wanted to, but you haven't yet.
Those would all be spells that you would use. Tongues and voluminous vocabulary would be spells that you could use to like translate text in languages that you don't know. Share memory would be a way to like tell that to other people. Analyze aura could be a historical thing. Like these are all like academic spells.
Yeah, they all back
I
up
think-
the theory that he's a
I think
legitimate
this is a historian. Does
Yeah,
the
so
name Akundali mean anything to me? Like, did I see it like in passing on like a poster at the museum for this event or anything?
It's not really that kind of museum, so there wouldn't be posters around. It's more of like the people who would be the patrons would be they would be told of what's happening. They would find out in other ways. It's not really trying to attract the masses, but if you want to give me a knowledge check of some sort,
Yeah.
I guess that'd be knowledge local to just see if you recognize this person's name at all. Anyone can do that if they want to.
Okay.
Mm.
17.
Not the person I expected to figure it out.
I hate it here.
Yeah, Elantra and Percy's you don't know, but Zell, I'm thinking that you sort of vaguely recall a person by that name passing through a city you were in one time.
Okay.
And they were coming
good.
to
Not in connection with this area.
not here, yeah, somewhere else. And they were just coming to like study in at a local college or something.
Okay. So they'll share that. Prefer
A
realistically,
mundane
when-
college specifically, not a college of magic. or something.
realistically, when we read the name, probably would have shared that. Well, I guess not. I guess I just kind of thought on the name now, and that's what it came to. But it looks like everything points to at least he is at least a real academic.
Yes. So
That doesn't mean he's not malicious. I mean, for all we know, he could be behind some sort of plot himself, but he's a legitimate academic.
He seems legit on the surface, at least.
So again, I'll ask the question. I mean, we're not able to read all the fables, right? Or are we familiar with all of them?
So far, you've only flipped to the first two. Actually, no. So you only looked specifically at the first two, but then Elantra sort of recalled a ton of information about this book. So I think Elantra, you know the full list of stories, and the language that they are written in, but you don't necessarily know the content of those stories.
But these aren't all like commonplace stories that everyone kind of has a general heard a version of.
They're
most of them type of thing.
some of them will be more common depending on where you're from.
Okay.
I don't think honestly Percy's has the best chance of having heard of any of these. His culture goes back far enough on Enerdom specifically to have heard some of these maybe. Specifically the first two. But so the first two are written in common. There's also a story written in Deep Speech. There's one in Avis. There's one in Cow. There's one in Octon, and there's one in Dwarven.
I can't help with any of those.
Common and druidic. So
Common, Elven, Draconic, Sylvan, Common Sign Language, and Infernal.
So
Hold on.
you would know, Elantra, that this tome was put together from stories that are pre the arrival of elves and orcs, Fae and Olag species to Enerdom. So they're only sort of the native races, which is why there's no representation for Orcish or Goblin or Elven or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
question for Elantra. Are you the type of magic person that would be able to use those spells or those scroll spells or whatever? Or do you have to
I
you
would be able to
strictly
use the
prepare?
ones. I'd be able to use the ones that I recognized, because
Could
they're
we not
scrolls.
Could we
So
not
any
use Vulner's
caster who has them on
vocabulary
themselves.
to understand the book?
I could, but it would destroy the scroll, and I don't want to destroy this person's
Gotcha.
things before I know.
Yeah, the scrolls are
Yeah.
one-time use. Some of them had duplicate copies in there, but most of them only had the one.
Okay.
And also, some of these spells are, I don't know if they're of a level that I can cast or not. I think I can cast all of them, actually.
I think there's one of the ones that you recognize that you can't cast yet. I think there's one 4th level spell in there. Sending, maybe?
Okay.
Sending is 5th level. Wow.
Really, 5th level? Damn.
Yeah. 5th level evocation.
So what level spells can you cast at this point?
I can cast up to 3rd level spells.
Okay.
You can cast spells that are higher level than you, just not automatically. There's a chance for failure.
And if I'm
But I
reading
still
this,
don't want to cast this person's spells without
Yeah.
knowing where we stand.
makes sense because I mean I would assume they're
Especially as I'm
expensive.
leaning more and more towards this is just a normal academic who got caught up in some shit.
Yeah. Also, I would assume they're pretty expensive, especially for an academic.
Yeah, I can tell you how expensive scrolls are in just a second.
I mean,
It's
I'm
like
assuming
per level or
several
some
hundred
shit.
gold, which in normal person is a
So
ton, right?
a 1st level spell scroll is 25 gold pieces. 2nd is 150. 3rd is 375. 4th is 700. 5th is 1125. 6th is 1650.
So we just stole thousands with scrolls worth thousands of gold from a dude.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm,
Gotcha.
mhm.
Gotcha.
This is worth a lot
Gotcha.
of money. That's why
Gotcha.
I'm not about to use these.
Yeah, that's why you're a little
But we'll
reluctant to
take
just be
them,
like,
but we'll
I'm going to
take them."
trash 1,100 gold real quick.
What's the worst that could happen?
Okay. Okay. Oh dang! What do?
I think that our best course of action is to start an evidence locker with the city guard. Keep these things there under lock and key. Go to the museum and try to see if we can't investigate towards where that one specter went, and find out what else we can learn about Akundi.
If
Kundilu.
if I remember correctly from the last time, I had asked what direction that one specter walked into the distance, and I did. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did you not say the way you had come from, like toward the entrance, and that we would pass through it on the way out? Or was that mistaken? Or am I mistaken that
Which
recollection?
instance are you talking about?
So we're at the museum. This is during our conversation with the
The director.
head of the place, the director. She described that the person, one of the specters or illusions, walked off into one direction and she didn't know where it went or whatever. And I thought I'd asked what direction did that person walk into, like to clarify. And then I thought you had said that it was like back toward where we had come from, as in toward the entrance. Is that incorrect? Is that an incorrect
I
recollection
believe
there?
that's correct.
Okay. So, and you said it wasn't a big building, so it's not like, based on what we know and what we discussed, it sounds like the illusion didn't like go to a hidden place or anything, or at least a room we hadn't been through. Or do we not really know that much, or is it bigger than I'm expect or kind of?
No, you're correct in saying there's not a ton of like actual usable space in the museum.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of open ceiling space, mostly. And like that big auditorium takes up a lot of space as well. But yeah, it walked off like out of the room they were in towards the entrance, and then she said she didn't know where it went after that. So I mean, it could have like turned or something. You don't know.
Okay, so but but knowing where the specter was and where it went to the entrance type of area, there could have been other directions, there are other rooms the illusion could have dipped to, is what you're saying?
Theoretically, yeah.
Okay. I mean, I guess theoretically they could also just go out the front door, run around back, and come in through the back of the building. But I mean, yeah, in theory. Okay. So there are other places, other nooks and crannies where they could have gone that we could investigate further.
Okay.
Is really what I was trying to pinpoint or pin down.
Yeah. There's other rooms that you didn't look into and stuff that you could have theoretically gone to for sure.
Okay. Then I mean, I guess that's as good as idea as any. I don't. Yeah, I have no clue where we should really go from here. Just don't like leaving that orb.
I need to go preheat my oven. I'll be right back.
Okay.
What's an oven?
I think you know what an oven is. Not a range, maybe, but an oven
Okay.
for sure.
What does he mean by preheating and what oven? Okay, I'm gonna take this moment for a quick break too, if that's okay.
Okay. Fuck it, I'll be right back as well.
Yeah, why not? I'll do this then.
I return. Oh, are we all taking a break? Okay, I'm gonna go pee then.
I am back. Is the launcher back? If no one else is back, I'm going to step away again. Okay.
I'm back.
Hello?
Hello?
God, my dough is so risen.
Hot. Or not yet, I guess.
The worst part is I'm gonna like finish break this bed. This bread is gonna finish breaking. I'm gonna have to wait for it to cool. It's not gonna be cool till like midnight.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, what? It's 9:45. Oven will be heated in 10 minutes. And close to 11:15 actually.
Okay, I'm back.
Same.
Okay.
That was good timing.
Okay.
So, do we want to like quick review everything that y'all know so far, or do you think you have a handle on everything?
Yeah, I think we kind of just
Review
did,
would be
didn't we?
good.
Okay, go ahead. Let's down.
So you know the names of the two people that appeared as images in the museum
But we don't know where they live.
earlier
right?
today. You don't know where they live, but you know their names and you know their jobs. You know a good bit about Helibonia so far. You know, I don't think you know anything about the person that that's reported seeing Helibonia's image anywhere. But that's information you could get theoretically. You know, someone went up to Akundali's room 9 days ago, a visitor, and that Akundali hasn't been out since then.
And there weren't signs of a struggle in Akundali's room, right?
No, not that anyone could see.
So hold on. So Kunali was in some sort of meditative state or clearly positioned state with a sensory deprivation mask on.
Mm-hmm.
Is it well? How long? So he guest visited how long ago? I'm sorry.
9 days ago.
And he's been in that room for how long before that? Or he was leaving, going to and from. He was going to and from before that.
Helibonia reported seeing him go back up to his room, and then later that day, a visitor coming.
Okay. Is it possible someone did? I mean, what if it isn't this? What if whatever position he's in? Obviously, there's possibilities it's not deliberate. But what if the projection has nothing to do with him, and that was placed there as a? I mean, whoever visited placed that there and did something to Akundali at the same time.
We knew he was alive, at least.
Everyone make me a wisdom check. Just a flat wisdom.
Gosh. Probably not going to be. Oh, actually, 18.
Wow, everyone's.
Yeah, wow.
You
okay.
all recall when you walked in the room, and it became clearer once the hood was off, but Akundali's head was aimed downward toward the puzzle box, which is on the ground and open, and directly above the puzzle box were the orb and the lens floating above it.
Okay, so he opened it and it happened to him, it seemed like.
What if the visitor gave him the puzzle box?
Or opened it for him. If he was meditating and not knowing he was there, and the guy opened the door and got him while he was.
That is true. Yeah, well, like the puzzle. I'm assuming the puzzle box is not something that can be solved without sensory deprivation, unless that's the challenge in itself. I mean, what type of puzzle box is it? You said it was spinning, but is it visually? Does it require a visual effort to solve? I assume.
Yeah, y'all would have to spend some time to examine the box.
Okay.
Currently, you have it, and
left.
I think you still have it open.
Oh, okay. But I mean, is there details like, is there texture to it, or is it more just like a series of cubes sort of thing, or metal or sliding bits? type of thing? Like, do I get a sense that you would need to look at this to solve it, or could you solve it with feel alone?
So it has some segments that are like a dark shining or shined wood. Some segments are like brass, and there's like lines sort of engraved around about it that cross those different segments. You get what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah.
So you could feel
They form some sorts of patterns, but that's all you can really tell from just looking at it.
Okay. So in theory, you could probably, if you wanted to challenge yourself, you could attempt to. It sounds like you could attempt to solve it through feel alone. So I guess at that point you wouldn't need a full sensory deprivation. A simple blindfold would do.
Yeah, wouldn't you have to like look at it though in order to activate it?
Talking about the lens.
Yeah, because he got lensed, right? That's what
That
happened. Or was,
we.
or the
It's
orb.
not quite the same as what we did. I mean, we had to hold up the lens and look through it. This lens was floating, orbiting the thought orb, or the orb, and he was blindfolded. So if he did activate the lens, he didn't do it through the same manner we did. Unless someone did it to him and staged him after the fact. We're just in the middle of the street saying this out loud, by the way.
Just wandering these pristine white and gray streets. Chill of rhyme reach cutting through your clothes.
So, okay, reviewing the stuff, I did forget that we got the names of the two people that also got affected. We don't know the name of the guest, and I think we asked Helibonia about that, and he didn't know it either. If I remember correctly.
As I recall, you did not ask any questions about the guest.
Did we really not? Oh, dang it. We could. I mean, I know okay. I'm pretty sure we asked the museum person where those people lived, and the director said, "I don't effing know." Right?
No, you did not ask.
Oh my
ask
god!
where they lived.
I thought we did. Okay.
No, you commented after you left that you didn't ask.
Okay. Maybe we can go back to the director and ask where those people went and see if they have any information.
Yeah.
God, we're tragic investigators.
You're very thorough with inanimate stuff, not super thorough with people.
Oh,
You
know, I don't talk. I do magic.
I mean, I think it's bang on for this group. So
I came here expecting to kill something, and yeah, or at least hunt something. Let's go. Okay. So maybe we can go back to the director and see if they know where those people, where their employees live, and we can follow up with them. And while we're there, we can try to take a peek into a back room they don't want us in or something.
See where these people possibly are in relation to.
We can also ask the director about a kundali.
Yeah, I mean, I think the natural progression is to go back to the museum because a kundali was supposed to be a speaker there.
Yeah.
Because you assume they have to have some information, right? Like,
You would think, yeah. Yeah, so I'm game with that first. And then possibly speaking to some other person, depending on what the curator says.
okay, so back to the Royal Globe Museum you go. At this point,
day, by the way,
what was that?
what's the time of day?
I was just about to say. At this point, it is starting to get sort of rosy in the sky. You know, it's getting towards evening, but it's that time of year where it'll get dark pretty quick. So we're talking late afternoon.
Okay.
Do we get a room at that inn and then do in the morning?
ooh. That's not a bad idea. I mean, it is also
Oh.
potentially a very bad idea, but it's not a bad idea.
Well, I think we still got time to see the director, do we not?
I
Before
remember they were all glaring at us as we left about them being closed. So they probably wouldn't be happy about it. We can
well,
try.
they were closed because of the Spectre stuff, right? Not because of the time.
They also mentioned that they had to cancel the talk that was going to happen. So maybe a little several factors for why they're closed.
Yeah.
But not necessarily because it was late or their hours of operation. This doesn't sound like a place that has hours of operation. Does it? I mean,
Yeah, no, I think you get
private.
I think you get some of a sense that the hours of operation are whenever the wealthy patrons want to go to the museum.
Yeah, it's more like a private showing sort of deal. Okay.
I think Elantra gets lost in thought on the walk while I go put the bread in the oven.
So I guess I think we're gonna head back to the museum still. And
Yeah,
check
we
it out
can.
and see
Yeah,
if
we
they
can
let
give it
us
a
in.
shot. Yeah, let's give that a shot first.
Okay. So you make your way back towards the center of the city where the museum is roughly located. As you approach, I think you see the Samsarin man that had heavy air quotes greeted you when you came here the first time is like putting on a coat and getting ready to walk out the door and has like keys in hand.
Okay, so we're just gonna make them upset if we.
Well, couldn't hurt to ask him a quick question. I mean, see if he knows about the. Or did we ask him about the people that were affected and he basically went talked to the director, or did we not talk to him about it at all and we just went straight to the director?
He
I don't
told
think he
you
had
that
much.
he wasn't there when it happened,
Okay.
and so that you should talk to the director.
Do we want to try to ask him about his coworkers and see if he knows where they stay or where they approximately live? Obviously,
No, because I hate him.
Okay.
I mean, like me, Seamus hates him, not Elantra.
I mean, yeah. Has the director left for the day? I asked the person about to lock the door. I guess they're about to.
Yes, she's been gone for a while now.
Maybe you can help us. Do you know? Do you happen to know where your associates, those two names, live?
Will you leave me alone if I tell you?
Yes.
Most.
Fine, I know where Som Noor lives.
We'll
I would
hold
ask
her into the
street
bargain.
name.
Sorry, guys.
Ask the street name, but you don't seem to have those here.
No, we don't. If you can't remember your way around the city, you don't deserve to know. Som lives 2 blocks that way, points off like easterly, round the corner next to the pub.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
I guess
A forced smile, and he finishes locking up, and then
As we're walking
shuffles
away, Elantra mutters, "Oh, don't have a great day."
You son of a bitch. Alignment. It's ruining. No, yeah. So, you guys have any objections to checking by the bar at least where they are and see if there's anything? So,
Yep, sounds good to me.
What
Tom
was
was
your
the name?
Somnur is this person that you have
Somnur.
directions to.
I wrote that down last time. It's in the chat if I scroll far enough.
The other name is Julia Amelina.
Yeah. it's
If you
all
don't
coming
want to
back.
scroll up to get that one as well.
All I can think about is Mr. Doubleina. Mr. Bob Doubleina. No, it's a song.
I'm not familiar.
It's a very old hip hop song.
That would be why. So you head off in the directions that you were given, I assume.
yes?
Yeah.
As you go, it does start to get rapidly darker. It took you some time to walk over to the museum, and now it's like a 7-minute walk to this person's house. You get, you round the corner and you spot a pub called the Chubby Tiger.
Okay.
And then, there's houses on either side.
Wait, did he specify which side?
No.
No.
Of course.
Seem to be in the
Um,
corner, Pubs typically are.
We could ask the owner of the pub. They probably know their neighbors.
Sure.
Yeah, we Somner. So I guess we're gonna go in and look for a bartender or somebody and ask if Somner looking for them.
Okay.
So we go into the bar. Let's visit this Chubby Tiger.
How bouncing is the Chubby Tiger?
It seems more like a it's like a neighborhood bar. There's no like dance floor or anything. It's not like super loud. There's also no like fighting corner or anything like that. It seems pretty calm, but
It's not
it's
rowdy
also
by any
busy.
sense. Would you consider just the overall chatter of voices, or is it more calm and restrained?
There's definitely a chatter of conversation throughout this place.
Is there a Street Fighter 2 cabinet?
There is not, unfortunately.
No.
Sad to say.
Fine. Cool. I guess we look into look for one of the employees, I guess, and ask around for that. Or
Yeah. So as with most of the denizens of this city that you've seen, there's a lot of pointed ears in here. Lots of fey faces, but also the occasional sort of halfling or human or something running around. There's 2 bartenders behind the bar currently. There is there's a halfling woman and there is a human man.
I will do, guys. I mean, I have charisma of 10, so I can try and ask around, but not sure how good it's going to be.
I could ask.
Nice. Yeah, because I got a charisma of 10.
Pardon me.
Do you walk up to one bartender in particular, or are you just approaching the bar in general?
I'm gonna slowly walk up to the bar and just see who makes eye contact first.
So like you're
Okay.
ordering a drink.
The halfling makes eye contact first.
Pardon me. I'm looking for a somnor. Do you know which house is this?
Oh, I don't rightly know where specifically they live, but I do know that they're right over there. And she just points to a table in the corner
Thank
where you
very
see
kindly.
an elf sat alone
Thank you
with
so
a drink.
much.
Convenient.
I'd like to approach the table.
I'm glad we didn't try and break it.
I have a cultural question
Okay.
about elves. Are elves like Germans where it's normal to be like, oh, is this seat free and sit at a table with somebody else? Or is that really weird like it is in America?
Interesting. I would say that it depends. It depends on the background of the particular elf. So it would be more common to do that for like gray elves, for instance, who are like more like city dwelling lineages. Whereas like a wood elf might be a little weirded out, and a ladrin like you might be a little weirded out just because it'd be like improper for a stranger to sit with you. Drow
Cool.
probably wouldn't be bothered so much.
Cool.
You can tell that this is a gray elf though, just by their coloration and whatnot.
Great. Pardon me. Could I talk to you for a moment? Sorry, where are my manners?
He perks
I'm
up like
turning
as soon
yellow
as
shirt.
you approach, trying to look a little bit I don't know, less sad, I guess. Not that he was weeping or anything, but
Real strong sad vibes.
just sat alone at a bar with, or at a table in a pub with a drink. It doesn't exactly give off my life's going great vibes, but
Right. I mean, it is like after work hours though.
but he I mean,
By
yeah, I
himself.
guess, but he didn't work
mean-
today.
I know that. But
Yeah.
he doesn't have to. He doesn't. He lie to the public.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was like, "Pardon me, can I talk to you for a moment?" And I like motioned towards an empty chair.
Yes, of course.
Thank you. Oh, we're gonna be so elven. It's gonna be great. Just Dalf and I back and forth like this. Ah, yes, the identify spell.
What are the other two of you doing, Zell and Percy's?
Is there even a chair I could sit on? I guess I could sit in a chair.
They have stools mostly, so you don't have the issue of arms getting in the way.
All right, I awkwardly drag a stool over, and it loudly screeches across the floor. I realize that's annoying people probably.
This is my companion, Percy's, and that's Zahel.
It's a pull-up chair as well, or stool, or whatever.
And I'm Hyundai Elantra again. You're Somnur, right?
Yes, but you have me at something of a disadvantage. Why? Who are you? Or rather, I got your name, but why?
We are members of the Seekers of the Jade Oath.
I see. You don't quite look like you're from around here. Looking mostly at Zell and Percy's when he says that.
You're not wrong.
Honestly, we've yet to go somewhere where they fit in.
I see.
Um,
Unfortunate.
So, as you know, the Royal Globe Museum today was shut down. Were you filled in on why?
Yes, I got some of this story.
Did they tell you the detail that you were seen in the museum?
That is why I got some of the story, yes. They wanted to know why. I was running through a desk, apparently.
And yet you have no recollection of doing such a thing.
I
Right?
was asleep. It was my
Yes.
day off. Well, it wasn't supposed to be, but it became my day off.
So, we are trying to piece together why there are illusory or spectral copies of citizens who have been appearing in places like the museum. Can you tell us anything unusual that happened over the last few days?
Well, it's been a bit strange at the museum for a couple of days because of the cancellations, of course. It was supposed to be a pretty busy time. There was many visitors in town for the talks, and the first few went off pretty well, I think. It was many patrons.
When was the Kundali going to speak?
Oh, he already had. He was speaking many times.
Interesting. So the museum is busy. Familiar faces? My understanding is that you retain many of the same clientele, almost like a social club of sorts.
Yes, well, there were. I didn't know all of them, but I have worked long enough here to recognize, of course, the local nobility and some of their friends from afar that were visiting. Some others brought faces I had not seen yet.
Right. And anyone acting strangely or trying to push beyond where they're supposed to go, perhaps? Anyone showing any obsessive interest in any exhibits, or just sort of standard fare?
I didn't notice any of the patrons acting untoward, no. No one trying to get into back rooms or touch any of the artifacts.
Okay. Perseus or Zahel, have you any questions?
What was the last thing you remembered right before your day off? We should say. You just went to bed. Was there any kind of thing that was out of ordinary that night?
Well, I did have a bit of a wild night. I mean, don't usually get days off. Well, not this many days off, and as I'm sure you found out, I was supposed to work today normally, and it was cancelled, so I was able to sleep in. So I thought I would spend a night at the pub, as it were, and fear that may have been a mistake, as I caused some sort of disturbance while I was asleep. I'm not sure if. I don't know. I don't know what to believe.
Out of character, real quick, just to make sure that I'm following all this straight. Did he just say that the day cancellation occurred before the illusionary stuff occurred in the museum?
Yeah, he was originally, scheduled to work today, and his shift at least got canceled.
Oh yeah, because that occurred today. Why did his shift get canceled?
You asking that in character?
If we do not know that, yes, I'm asking.
Yeah, you do not know that.
Okay. So yeah, I will bring that up. Going back to saying that your day off, why exactly was your shift canceled?
But we didn't need as many people on the floor because there would be far fewer guests because the talks weren't happening. Shame that speaker just disappeared. It never happened before that someone set to
Hold on.
attract
Speaker
so many
disappeared.
visitors would simply cease to appear after their first two talks.
Who was this that disappeared?
Akundali, I believe, is the pronunciation of the name. Yes.
Okay, so okay. Out of character again, going back to what the director told us. Didn't the director tell us that the speakers were canceled because of the illusions? She didn't tell us that a speaker disappeared.
I think they
before
said that the museum was closed because of the illusions.
Yes.
That's what I
But
thought.
And the speakers, but I don't think she said why the speakers had been canceled.
Okay. Okay, so it's not like she could have been potentially misleading us, other than the fact she didn't mention that one just stopped showing up before anything even began.
Yeah.
Okay.
I now have a further insane theory. The illusions got to the museum because Akundali is trapped and trying to send a message to people who will help free him. And we have to go inside of this orb.
How does that explain the illusion of oh my gosh, Helibonia, who went
It
to
was
the
people
bar
that he's interacted with that he's trying to get.
Yes, but the illusion of Helibonia went to a bar with one of Helibonia's friends and had discussions. That didn't seem like himself.
I will amend that.
Okay, am I misremembering again?
Slightly, just slightly.
Okay.
Helibonia was seen at a bar by one of his friends, but was described as ignoring his friend and like being sort of rude in that way.
Okay, so acting, but acting like it didn't know the person. Or
Yeah, not just like having a normal conversation. It was a little bit.
Okay.
Something was off.
Being disinterested or just shrugging the person off type of deal. Okay, but still, I mean, if someone's seeking out for help, I mean, it'd be pretty simple. I assume talking was happening in this. If they could talk and basically say something like that, it doesn't seem like reaching out to help to me.
I could be reaching out for help in a very limited way. Perhaps it's the only thing that I could do. I don't know.
So
am I saying this in character? Actually, no. I don't think I'm saying that in character. I think I'm thinking that.
Oh, I assume we were just discussing this in front of the random person.
Yeah, I'm realizing I don't want to discuss that in front of the random person because we're supposed to kind of keep this under wraps.
Okay.
I guess we're just like turned around and just whispering amongst ourselves.
I was thinking this is just fully out of character info dumping together.
Yeah, I mean, if you just need to exchange information, you had time walking. We can assume that everyone knows everything.
But normally, when I think we discuss like possible theories and stuff like that, I'm assuming we're doing that in character.
I mean, we can have Elantra and Zael whispering while Percy's is like trying to hold the attention of this guy that you're sat at a table with.
I can't grab attention.
What's it like not having horns?
So if you two want a sidebar, that can happen in a way that
so
you're not.
I think all of that was sidebar, and I think So we ended up with it might be a plea for help or something, but we don't know why.
And to Zell's point, it's not super effective so far.
Yeah.
Especially when, as far as what we know from the illusions, we have full control. There's nothing stopping us from what we can do. As far as, I mean, there seems to be no can touch things, can talk.
I wonder if it's like a combination of spells.
I think
like-
the thought core is just fucking with whatever he was trying to do, and
We
I don't
never
know.
moved him.
It's either you mean like just flip him over?
I mean, like, was the orb in proximity to him, or like
We
was it attached to it? Like, was it like kind of like leashed to him? You know?
There was nothing that anyone could see that was like linking the two.
Okay.
And you did like poke him a little bit, but yeah, you didn't like fully lift him or move him like several feet. You just sort of like nudged him around.
Yeah, I wouldn't think we need to do that, or like I wouldn't even try to do that. But I'm just trying to think about like if it was linked, but there was no indication of it being linked.
Zal, on your point, I think as you've been thinking over all of this, especially mulling over how your previous interactions with thought cores has gone out, you look down at the vine wrap around your arm and sort of recall the things that it was doing while it was hooked into the thought core and how different that is with what you're able to do with it.
Yeah. Okay. So it almost altered or amplified the power, but the actual outcome was completely different than what the artifact itself did. Right. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, it's definitely like it did something along the same lines for sure, but it was altered and
same concept.
Yeah, it was cranked up in some way.
Yeah, so it's definitely amplified and argumentatively could be like amplified and out of control. I mean, same thing with the second thought orb. The outcome, forget his name, certainly didn't want his consciousness trapped into the thing. He was trying to study it until. Did we know what triggered? I can't remember. I vaguely. Oh, did he end up getting killed by one of his own oozes or something like that?
Yeah, it was. That situation was a little weird because the oozes sort of got created as a result of the thought core being down there for so long with all these like weird chemicals and stuff.
Yeah, and then ultimately, okay, yeah, and that ultimately is what killed him, and his consciousness somehow got trapped in the orb as he was studying it and dying, essentially.
Yeah, his mind got like shattered into a couple of different parts.
And this is Zell's perspective for the get-go. Like, bad shit happens with these thought cores. Maybe this dude was trying something, thought he knew what he was doing, and things got out of control, but at least some of these illusions seem to be deliberate in their maneuvers, and it does not seem to be a positive thing. It seems to be deliberately doing something, and we don't know what it is, and it doesn't seem like a cry to help to me. Unless the illusions, whoever's controlling the illusions is just confused and doesn't really have full capacity to understand what they're doing.
So you live in the woods, you said? That's
Yes. So actually, yeah, I talk about all the wild forms. I go through. I don't know how much of this you want me to actually RP out.
as much or as little as you want to.
Oh yeah. Well, I recently gained the ability to turn into animals. I can do it once a day. I haven't done it yet. So if there's any small to medium animals that you can think of,
Could you turn into like so many options. What are the limits?
Dinosaur. Not a dinosaur.
A what now?
No, never mind.
How about an armadillo?
Can I do that? I forgot. I think it's an animal, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they're small, I think.
I can do this once. Are you sure you want armadillo?
Oh, only once. Perhaps not then. Perhaps something else. And so they'll mull over that for a
What
while.
about dog? I can do dog.
Can you do any kind of dog?
Any dog I know. I mean, you explain the dog well enough, I can probably get a good idea of.
We have
I've seen plenty of dogs, I think.
We have these sort of thin running dogs in this city that are pretty popular, but I've always wanted to see one of the large fluffy ones.
Yeah, if I could turn into the largest, fluffiest dog I could think of.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't think that the dogs have been bred maybe quite as uncontrollably as they have in our world, but there's definitely still a bunch of different breeds. We'll just say they have fewer health issues in a fantasy world. So yeah, there's something that's like, what are those big, huge white dogs with the long hair?
I know you're talking about
That's a mastiff, right?
I don't think so.
No, not a mastiff.
There's like the Chow. There's the
Malamute?
Great Pyrenees.
A Malamute is pretty close to what I was thinking.
Newfoundland, maybe.
Yes, something like that. Just like a fluffy husky sort of.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that ballpark.
Anything native to the forest region, if there would be a dog, that would be around that. Anything like that. So you could play around with that, what I would know with that, but I think...
Yeah, you're in a more northern-y forest that's like pretty close to a big mountain range as well, so I think any like the more cold weather dogs would probably be more common for you.
More wolvy.
Yeah. So you're able to turn into something along those lines.
I can also cure light wounds while I'm in form now due to my new feat.
Oh yeah. You can do some spells. So yeah, they just start sort of fawning over and like, "Can I pet you?"
I can't talk, but I can nod and stuff like that. And I that's like 50 minutes. So you got 50 minutes of time as they can play with the
I will
dog.
take that as a yes. They'll just start giving you like behind the ear rubs and stuff.
I do my best dog impression.
Oh, what would you even roll to pretend to be a dog?
I guess knowledge nature? Or is that...
I mean, I could see it being a couple things. I could see an argument for disguise, for knowledge nature, or for bluff.
I think disguise is like for looks, if I want to like dress myself like a dog.
Yeah, let's go knowledge nature then, to just sort of hit mannerisms that you know from observation and stuff. Nice. You're nailing the dog act.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, I think that should be a good enough distraction.
Yeah, this
tricks. Yeah. I'm rolling over. I'm giving paw.
This guy is fully not paying attention to this sidebar. He has a fluffy dog, so he is he is petting Percy's and not thinking about the weird implications of what the conversation will be like when you stop being a dog.
Neither am I thinking of that.
One more out of character question to remind myself of past adventures. Did any of because at this point Zell has, I think, touched every thought core so far. Did the pulling sensation occur with the other ones, or is that unique to this one? Okay.
So far, that is unique to this one.
Okay, well, I guess at this point, we go back and get a room. And
I don't think we should stay at the same inn.
You don't think we should stay at the same inn?
I don't like it.
You just don't want to deal with Helibonia again.
No, I don't want to deal with the potential theft that we did.
Sounds good to me.
I think at this point we just get an inn like nearby where we are, and I think what we should do in the morning is we need to talk to the museum curator
Okay.
and the head of the guard, Captain Zemnos. I think we need to just get. I think we need info on what these talks at the museum are about. I have a feeling that that's what ties all these things together.
Yeah.
We need more info. It sounds like we're missing something.
I could stay at
also-
the end myself though, just in case. Like I try and get a room like
Yeah.
high as I can. I'll tell Helibonia that I just like.
Yeah, you could ask for one on the third floor even.
Yeah.
I think also that if I am able to prepare spells for investigating more tomorrow instead of spells for fighting like I did,
Then
I
we'll
think
end up fighting
have-
a bunch of stuff tomorrow.
I mean,
you know it.
that for sure. Dalf, can I roll some sort of divination wizard shit to try to figure out what spells I should prep? Or is that a tomorrow thing?
Unfortunately, I can't even answer that question for you because I don't know what y'all are gonna do. Even if you like nat 20'd some divination shit, I wouldn't really be able to give you a good answer, I don't think. I mean, I guess I could give you a little bit. You just roll me a thing. Roll me I guess just an intelligence check. Okay. You sort of close your eyes and reach out.
I think that in character, I would probably be doing this like right before bed.
Okay. Sure.
We can like table it for a minute if we want to do other things.
Sure. We'll keep that in mind, and then we'll essentially we'll close the session with this then.
Okay. I mean, I can't think of anything else we'd want to do at this point other than.
Have you exhausted the questions you want to ask of Sam?
I think so.
I think I would want to get their contact info, or like not contact info. I want to know
Get their email address.
Yeah, like what's their like link? Can we be LinkedIn connection?
Figure out the door. Is it left or right of the bar?
Yeah, I just want to know like where they live in case we need to come back to ask them further questions.
Okay.
Or we can present them new information to figure out like what happened to them. Right. I think that would be important closure for people.
I think they would have the right to know possibly what happened.
Actually, before we get into that, I would like to ask the person what if they had any opinion on Kundali themselves, like based on his early speeches, what he did see about him.
Okay. So they turn. They're now sort of bending down slightly in order to get a good angle on some scratches on Percy's here. Dog Percy's, of course. And so they turn their head when you ask this question. Oh, I didn't really get a chance to speak with him, but I did catch a little bit of one of his talks. It seemed fairly interesting, but it goes back quite far in the history, and it's a little bit before any of my, what I learned growing up. So it was all very new to me, but he did seem fairly popular in the lobby after his second talk. Surely he was tied up the whole time with someone.
Who was that? Who might that be?
That was one of the faces I did not recognize. So it was a dragonborn man? Older, I could tell that much.
Okay.
And a specific color. Give me a second to not lie to you.
And of course, we didn't ask about the guest at the other end at all. So,
a sort of a almost black, sort of grayish, older dragonborn. small wings.
Wow, can't just say that about a person.
Oh, is that rude?
About a
Oh,
dragon.
It's
heavens.
about how
That's
you
in
flap
character.
them.
Let's keep that in character.
It's about how you flap them. If you are really investigating this, I would please love to know if anything comes of it. I'm just concerned what happened to me. I don't want it to happen again. It was very unsettling to hear about myself being not myself somewhere else, you know?
I pant.
Sure, we'll keep you posted. And then I think, Elantra, you asked them like where we could find them and that sort of thing. Already?
Oh, of course, my you would need to know how to find me. Yes, I'm either here or at my house, which is that one just off to the left as you leave, and or at work at the museum.
Okay.
Did I miss anything in the last 2 minutes? I had to put the bread out of the oven.
We found out that Akundali was talking to a black dragonborn with tiny wings, small wings. I don't know if they were.
Yeah, tiny is maybe you're
Eh.
insulting the man a little too much.
And apparently, it's insulting to call.
Today I learned.
to call a dragonborn's wings small.
Do dragonborn have wings?
So there are two sort of subspecies of dragonborn. There's the wingless ones that are probably what come to mind first. They tend to be a little bit burlier, and then there is another group, the certainly less prolific, called highborn, that do have wings. They're
Actually,
not
I
like
remember
full
this.
flight creatures, but they can like glide with them and stuff. They tend to be a little bit.
I remember reading about this in the wiki.
Okay. They're definitely not native to my region, so I wouldn't know about that. But...
No, certainly not. Almost all dragonborn live on Octon.
Okay.
It's pretty concentrated there. I mean, obviously some get out and spread elsewhere, but there's no like big dragonborn cities anywhere else, really.
Did Helibonia say it was a black dragonborn? I
We
feel like
didn't
I
ask.
remember.
No,
Yeah.
you as far as I recall, have no details about the person that visited
Okay.
Akundali's room.
Maybe I'm crazy.
Because it just slipped our minds.
You might have
Like I feel like
you
they
might
gave us
have
something.
gender, and that's it.
Okay.
I don't even know if you have that much. I'd have to re-listen to the first one, but yeah, you heard that there was a visitor and didn't ask any questions about them.
Damn.
Yeah, so at some point, I think we're gonna need to circle back.
Stupid.
I think we're gonna have to circle back to Elabonia.
So dumb.
Well, we didn't expect him to be like incapacitated. I guess we thought he would be the person we would be talking to.
I think
Yeah.
I think we initially thought the visitor was a friend, but
Yeah.
now I'm not as sure.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Because I wasn't even thinking that this would be
I
possible.
mean, it's not an unreasonable assumption that you would go into this room and not be able to talk to the person that's been there for 9 days.
Yeah, I mean, and the reason we investigated that room is because we hadn't heard the person had been heard of for 9 days. Not necessarily. I guess it was immediately after the guest.
It lined
It was
up
the same day.
It lined up
Yeah.
with the day that Helibonia went unconscious, which was the first sort of instance of all this.
But also, was that not the same day? Or no?
I have to go take the other loaf out of the
That
oven. I'll
is
be back.
that is
Yeah.
also the same day as the Visitor.
Guest,
Yeah.
visitor. Okay.
Yep.
Well, I guess they're both guests. Yes, the visitor of the guest. Sorry, the guest of the guest. Okay. Yeah, I think we'll have to circle back around and maybe deal with. I suppose we could just have the exact same conversation we did the first time we walked in there, and then just ask, because I'm assuming he won't remember us at all. So we just start from the beginning. The exact same words we said the day before. Take the exact same number of cookies, and then we just follow the conversation tree, and then we just click the other one we didn't click before.
Yeah, I didn't think about it, but in many ways, Helibonia is a video game NPC.
So we still have avenues to investigate, definitely, but it sounds like we ran out of time this day.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably dinner time at this point. We all have been puttering around the city, investigating and talking to people all day.
And I think that because no one so far, like to our knowledge, nothing has been stolen by anyone who's in us. No one has been harmed. No one has been killed. I think that we wouldn't be like working through the night or something.
True,
would
it's not
just
super
be-
urgent.
Yeah, the sort of time frame that you have from your original contract was before the king arrives in the city. Basically, they want this sorted out, and that's several days out. So you have time. You don't have to like get this shit done in 2 hours or anything like that, to your knowledge.
Well, I missed something there.
just the way he hedged his bets with long pause.
Look, you gotta.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we don't. It's great. We don't know a motive. We don't know a reason. We don't know a goal. Like,
Don't have a murder
just
weapon. Don't
it's
have a
still all
murder.
mystery.
You don't even have a murder, let alone a murder weapon.
No
We
body, no
just
case.
We just discovered more mysteries for the mystery. We have a suspect now. I guess we have a couple possible suspects.
I mean, it's Fletcher Cottonbottom. It could have been Squire Badger himself.
Yeah, for sure. And our ghost's real.
Art. Hey, Dov, can I
Yeah.
roll to see if ghosts are real?
Yeah.
I'm not Reika.
No, you're not. And honestly, the opposite would have happened here. If you had rolled a 20, ghosts would no longer be real. Okay, so it sounded like y'all were gonna sort of make some lodging plans, right, for the evening?
Yeah.
I was planning to stay at the inn where Helibonia's tending to, I guess, and then I would take
Okay.
a full room.
The Enticing Prophecy?
There it is.
Enticing
Yeah.
Prophecy. Yeah.
I knew it was something weird that sounded like a quote massage parlor.
So you're going to the inn, right?
Yes.
Well, I mean, do you want to ask Helibonia, try to get the guest, the visitor information out of him while you're there?
Yeah, we can do that.
I mean, I don't know if you want to do it like this evening, or we can do it when we wake up the next day. But I mean, if we're obviously either gonna meet you there, or you're gonna come from.
I
the
would
inn.
say do it after I'm done my lodging, just not to complicate it, just in case I don't get in trouble.
Gotcha. So that way you don't get kicked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you want to sort your room and then ask that question before you go up, or?
I think in the morning I would ask it, since it's not urgent, because I mean we would have the conversation then pretty much just after I'm done being rested and using the inn, I guess.
The other thing about staying at that inn is it's designed to be a long-term inn, and we really don't need a long-term inn.
Well, they had different rates for.
That's true.
Yeah, so to that point, there may be some negotiation required to stay for a shorter time.
Okay, yeah, I would like a 2-day.
I would say they're not unreasonable for y'all to know some. I don't think long stay-ins are unusual in this world. Less than 4 days would be weird for a long stay-in.
Okay. Well, how much is it?
That's another point. Is it's also not going to be. You're not going to get gouged. You're an adventurer. Y'all are rolling in it for the most part. So
Yeah.
if you're not worried about money, you could pay for 4 days and not use them all.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about doing. It's not like prohibitively expensive.
Mm-hmm.
If you pay for more than a week, you get a different rate. So I hear.
Yep.
Get a bonus day or something. I don't know.
It does
Oh,
get
bonus
cheaper the
day.
longer you're there.
If you stay there for 3 years, it's practically nothing.
It's free real estate.
So for Elantra and Zell, do you have anything in mind for what you're looking for a place?
I want
Nothing
somewhere that's sort
Go
of
ahead.
central to the locations that we've been to so far.
Yeah,
Like, I want
something
somewhere that's
that's
easy to travel to and fro.
I would say near the other end, possibly between that and wherever the museum is, or at least close to those two locations.
Okay.
Because it's obviously where we're going to go. One of those two locations. And I assume we kind of share these details before going our separate ways.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And also, I'll go back and say that since I'm going to be staying there multiple days anyway, I can just ask now about that. I don't know if you want to talk that out, but I was just going to inquire about the dragon person, dragon.
Sure. You're gonna ask Helibonia, you mean?
Yes.
Okay, so Zell and Elantra, I guess all of you are walking in the same direction for the most part, and at some point you'll like part way towards the enticing prophecy after you've passed the museum. You'll spot like down another side street a something that looks labeled like an inn. So you two pull off to go get a room for the night. You make whatever coordinating plans you need to meet up in the morning, I assume. And Elantra and Zell grab some rooms at, let's say, the Quiet Square. Quiet Square Inn.
I was a dog the whole time, as long as I could have been, by the way. I'll on shift. We're going.
Crucial question. Do you walk into the enticing prophecy as a dog?
No, I don't want to startle people. I'm not trying to put on
Okay.
the show. I'll do it outside of the inn.
Okay, so you retake Minotaur form and enter the enticing prophecy.
If someone spots us or spotted us during that walk, we can use that later. I was dog.
And you find Helibonia with their face in a muffin.
Oh, that looks like a delicious muffin there.
Their head pops up, cheeks full of sugary dough. Yes, it is. Would you like a muffin? I have one more muffin.
Oh, if you wouldn't mind, I would take a muffin. Sure. I accept the muffin.
Yeah, they flit down and then grab the muffin, the last muffin off their, tray, myriad sweets trays that they have underneath this desk, and fly it up to you and hand it to you.
Awesome. And then I was like, "Oh, first business. I just wanted to get a room
for stay for possibly on the top floor for like 4 days, if possible.
Oh, okay. Yes, we can absolutely do that. You would like a top floor room. That is going to be 4 days. And they do a little bit of math, and there is a on the topmost floor. There is 2 levels of accommodations. Would you like the deluxe package, or would you like our standard room?
What's a deluxe?
What's the deluxe?
Oh, they are the deluxe rooms that we offer are roomier. They also come with window, and also they have a stove with a personal stove and chimney, so you can do some cooking inside. And if you pay a little bit extra, we can also have someone come and periodically clean or deliver things, or give you a wake-up call, or whatever else you need.
Fantastic, I'll take it.
Excellent. Perfect. Fantastic. Wonderful.
What's the damage? Do I pay now or?
It will be half now and half when you are checking out. 4 days, you said.
Yes.
And they'll I'll do math off stream.
right, cool.
And I'll give you a number that you'll
Yeah.
owe.
Okay, cool. And now that we talked about that,
Also, I had to discuss with you a more official matter after the room. I wanted to ask about the attendant in G. We are here with the. I was here with a couple associates earlier with the order. I don't know if you remember or not, but we know that there was a man who visited him who might be in for some questioning for a possible crime, and we just wanted to see if you had a description of that person.
Oh dear, a crime. Oh, I had no idea there were criminals. Oh, oh my. Oh boy.
I just,
No worries. I'm an adventurer. Thankfully, I'm here.
Pat Pat, not actually Pat Pat.
Okay. You wanted to know about the visitor that visited room G. When did they visit? Do you know when they visited?
It was it 8 days? Whenever the incident happened.
9 days
9
ago.
days ago.
9 days.
9 days ago.
9 days ago. Okay. Lucky you, I have an excellent memory. I didn't get the name of the visitor, but I do know the name of the person they were visiting, and I could describe the visitor to you. Is that sufficient for your investigation?
That's very sufficient for me. I can take notes off of that, and that'd be perfect.
So, we've got to keep our voices down. I don't want anyone else to hear. I'm giving you private information about one of our guests.
Of course, this is very important. I understand.
The guest's name is Akundali. He's a cool crystal man. First time I've ever seen one before. And I haven't seen him in a while. Anyway, and the person that was visiting him was a shorter fellow. With one of the people with like the hairy feet and the pointy halfling. He was a halfling man.
Okay. Did he say what he was on any business of?
He had very very short black hair and like light brown skin. He just I was told earlier that day that a visitor was going to be expected, and then I should let the visitor up. And then when the visitor came, they said they were expected, and that I should let them up. So because they were expected, I let them up. I didn't ask many more questions than that. I didn't think it was necessary to ask many more questions than that, because they both sort of agreed that the person was expected and that they should go up. Did that answer your question?
I was talking into a muted mic or a muted mic. Holy crap! That was all the questions we had, like out of character, by the way, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Yeah. Then that was perfect.
Other
Thank
than
you
if
very
you
much.
can get his name.
So yeah, they didn't give a name at all, right? You said
Hmm. I didn't ask a name, but we do have a guest book that people have to sign when they visit one of our residents, temporary residents. I could maybe find his signature in there for you.
That would be fantastic. Yes.
I will be right back.
I patiently wait.
And he literally just turns around and grabs a book from the shelf directly behind him, and then turns back around and plops the book on the table. Here we go. What were we looking for again?
The name of the halfling man that was visiting.
Halfling man. When was he visiting?
Uh, 9 days ago.
I forgot the crystalline man's name.
Oh, okay. 9 days ago. That's going to be on page 17. Lucky you. I have a great memory. Flips open to page 17. And there is only one signature in the guest book on that day.
And what was that name?
It is in some real chicken scratch. I think it's pretty clear. The first letter of each name. It's a J and a T.
Justin Timberlake.
I was just gonna say.
If you give me like a linguistics, or if you're not trained in linguistics, you can just give me a flat intelligence to try and decipher further.
Yeah, I know.
15 on an intelligence. That's pretty good.
Considering I have zero mod.
Yeah. You examine it a little bit more and are able to work out most of it. The first name is Yard, Jard. The first half of the last name is Trunk.
We know a yard.
And with that, we will cut to Elantra getting ready in their room and peering off into.
Yeah. So Elantra has out like is this the
Yeah.
divination roll?
Yeah.
Great. So Elantra has like their component pouch out, and they have like some sticky or like not sticky but kind of gooey tree sap, and they're just like wrapping it around this sprig of sage, just back and forth like meditatively. And then they're holding that over a candle so that the like sap kind of melts and then hardens. And then once it melts and hardens, they're going to throw the sage onto the ground, and it will shatter, and that will give them some revelations.
Excellent. So as you look into the patterns that these like shattered bits of sap landed and how they are splayed out across the ground in front of you, the smell of the melting sap fills your nose, and you get a distinct sense that there is a potential for hostility in your very near future, but that you have some control over when that happens.
Great.
So it is avoidable for you, up to a point.
Cool.
And you think you'll see it coming. It's not going to be like a surprise. It'll be something that you can, you won't have like days to plan for necessarily, but when it's starting to approach, you'll have some time.
See the shit flinging before it hits the fan.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
And with that scene, I think we'll fade to black for this week's episode.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And I'll leave you to ponder the name that you got.
Yard trunk space.